That's right, everybody. We are back. JV Wins, Dogon, as always. Got plenty to say for the stream tonight, so can't wait to get into it. Of course, as always, check us out on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify if you want to get the show on the audio channels wherever necessary, wherever you like to download podcasts. Just trying to be available in any and all places possible. And if this is your first time checking us out, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. We certainly appreciate the engagement, and we do respond so long as you're not being a troll. Or hell, sometimes we'll even respond if you are being a troll. Who knows?
Right, that's right.
But we do appreciate the value of your digital currency. We don't take that for granted. It takes a lot of effort to actually subscribe to stuff. As someone who does not subscribe to 10% of the content that he consumes, well, 90% of the content that he consumes, I understand full well what it means to actually hit that link, to hit that button. It means that you receive value. So if you receive value from the content that we deliver, it's the highest form of flattery, and we certainly do not take that for granted. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get right into it, man. And the first thing that we are going to discuss are comments made by perhaps not necessarily a friend of the channel, but an individual that I think I can also speak for Dogon when I say he is held in high regard over here on this side of the universe. I personally wish that he would sort of come back into the mainstream fold. I think the game is sorely missing his abilities and his talent, but he has since drifted off into, I don't want to call it semi-retirement, but he's just not nearly as active as he was when he, was, I guess, in his prime, if you want to say. But Lupe said some interesting things that I wanted to discuss on the channel because according to him, Nas, another individual who we hold in high regard, would not rank very highly on his list of lyricists in hip hop. Lupe Fiasco does not think that Nas is someone who should be highly thought of when it comes to some of the game's best lyricists. Now, I would think that Lupe would actually have the opposite opinion, so this struck me as unusual. But we'll go ahead and get right into this. So this says Lupe Fiasco argues Nas doesn't rank highly among hip hop's best lyricists. Lupe Fiasco has been a topic of discourse on social media as of late. Much of this has to do with his comments about Kendrick Lamar. Some believe that there is a feud budding between these two, albeit a one-sided one. However, a lot of this boils down to the fact that people keep asking Lupe about Kendrick. It's not as if Lupe is just saying things about Lamar unprovoked. Instead, he is being forced into these conversations, which have subsequently led to this bizarre narrative that he obsessed with K. Dot. Of course, that couldn't be further from the case. This week, Lupe Fiasco appeared on Culture United, hosted by Justin Hunt, aka the Company Man. During this conversation, Lupe was able to clear the air while also delving into a whole host of other topics. In fact, Lupe has ignited yet another discourse fire, this time thanks to a fan's question about Nas. While discussing the merits of punchline rap, a fan asked if Nas can be considered a top-tier lyricist since he isn't known for punchlines. The fan believes other literary devices must be considered. Lupe Fiasco gave his answer, stating that among hip-hop's best lyricists, Nas just doesn't rank that high. So let's see. Here is some of this video and audio of Lupe making said comments about Nas not ranking high amongst hip-hop's best lyricists.
Nas doesn't have great punchlines, so is he not lyrical? What about other literary devices? I remember Luke praising Blue back in the day. He also isn't a punchline-heavy MC. How can we reconcile this? Open floor.
So in terms of if you compare Nas to, if you remove, again, for me, remove the beat, remove everything else, and just go with the words. If you threw Nas into, and you created the list of just people who rap, which is a big list. There's hundreds of thousands of rappers, and you remove all that, he wouldn't rank high. I wouldn't rank high. That doesn't mean we're not lyricists in our space, but when you isolate it to that, just that fundamental part, a lot of people don't rank high. You know, it doesn't take away from. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just confused on why you said you wouldn't rank high.
All right.
I gotta watch the rest of that. What are you talking about?
Lupe Fiasco makes it clear that there are hundreds of thousands of MCs. Most are unknown. Some are superstars. Given the sheer volume of competition, it's almost impossible to rank Nas among the best of the best. While rankings certainly are a numbers game, most fans rank based on those who are known to the world. As a result, Lupe's take hasn't exactly been met with agreement. Even the panel on Culture United seemed to be taken a bit back by what Lupe had to say. Given Lupe's talents, his opinion needs to be considered. He knows what he's talking about. Whether or not the masses will agree with this take is another story entirely. So there's Mr. Fiasco. He says, but now to his credit, he also included him in that bucket, saying that he also wouldn't rank high. But he says Nas would not rank high if you just consider the words. So what do you make of that?
I mean, listen, of course he's entitled to his opinion, but you know, that's a little too galaxy brain for me of an answer. You know, if they didn't say if you want to remove Beat the Beat and we just want to do, you know, I guess a read along of slam poetry, if you will, of lyricism. That's not what we're talking about. Like you could take battle rappers who go completely a cappella and you throw them on a beat and they can't bring that same level of oomph, you know, that they have in the battle raps with no beat and bring that to an actual beat. They can't cross those streams. As time's gone on, battle rappers have gotten better with rapping on beat, but it still don't hit the same. So you can't sit here and take somebody who exclusively raps on beats and say, hey, just remove the beat, you know, and let's just look at the words. That's not what we said here. You know, it's like you having an argument with a female and, you know, you going point A to B here, you know, hey, ABC. I'm talking about X, Y, and let's exclude the Z. Let's exclude the Z. What are we talking about here? That's not what I asked you. And that's not what I said. So it's the same type of semantic kind of thing where you're finding a way to omit him. That's what it sounds like. And hey, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be high on that list. Well, who is? Who are these fictitious people that are better than Nas at this stuff? And so, granted, Nas is not a punchline guy. He never had to really be one. You know, that's not his MO. And if we're talking about like a bag, as far as like your rapping bag, you know, he doesn't do the triple rap flow. He don't do none of those things. He's not a flowing machine, honestly. Like if you listen to some Gucci stuff, you know, pre-clone Gucci, okay, you know what I'm saying? You listen to pre-clone Gucci, and his flows on some of those songs, man, are absolutely ridiculous. He's not saying anything of substance, but his flow is impeccable. But Nas, on the other hand, he's not blowing you away with flow. He's not blowing you away with you know, Eminem syllable.
Yeah,
you know, he's not doing none of that. But he still gets the point across in a very good way because Nas has a unique ability to strike chords of reality with the listener. If they're listening, it makes so much sense that he's kind of just talking to you. He ain't got to sit here and pull a rabbit out the hat, have smoke and mirrors, you know what I'm saying? Cut the woman in half and then spread the table. He ain't got to do none of that crazy stuff. He comes straight at you and just tell you some real life stuff. And it resonates so much that you go, man, this guy's really good. So I can't go for that. I get where he was trying to go with that galaxy brain of an answer, But that to me, that was just a little bit too. That was too much of an artsy answer to a straight up kind of question, if you ask me. But yeah, what do I know? All right. I'm not high on this list either. But what are your thoughts, man, on Lupe Fiasco saying that Nas is not at the top of the list of rappers of all time because his lyrics don't really hit as hard or something? I don't know where he's getting at, but what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, the whole just consider the words and take all of that other stuff away. I hear where you're coming from. That's like asking how great of a basketball player is Ray Allen. And then you go, well, if you just take away the shooting, it's like, well, that's what makes him if you make Shaq 6'6" and not 7'1", like no one's asking that question. Exactly. Like how effective of a basketball player is this individual?
Exactly.
And to understand, you got to really kind of understand Lupe. Lupe is one of those, and I got a lot of respect for Lupe, but Lupe is what I call a forced contrarian.
That was forced contrarianism, man.
Yes, Lupe is one of those people who will go out of his way to give the against the grain answer just to be different. And like I remember years ago, he was being interviewed. This was back when they still did like music programming. I think it was on BET. It may have been Rap City, one of those shows. This is how far back this goes. Mm-hmm. And Lupe was being asked several questions, music related questions. And he prefaced his responses by letting the interviewee know that he's a complex person. So like before he even started answering any of the questions, he told the person who was asking him the questions, now you have to keep in mind, I'm a pretty complex dude. So some of these answers are going to be a bit complex, but just keep in mind that that's kind of how I roll because I'm a complex kind of guy. And so it's like, okay, that to me is one of those things where like you're a self-proclaimed complex individual. It kind of seems like you're trying to be complex on purpose so that can be your unique trait and that you can seem different. Other than just being complex because that's truly who you are, and it's just going to kind of come through in the way that you answer questions, you have to kind of let everybody know that you are complex so that you can then have the leeway to give out of the box answers and no one can be off guard because you're complex and you told everybody so. So I kind of feel like he gave a response coming from a similar place where it's like, most people are going to consider Nas to be very lyrical. So because you want to stick to your Lupe brand, you go against the grain and say he wouldn't rank high. And because you're an intelligent person, you can substantiate your claims with articulate reasonings. Of course, yeah. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of the music listening audience is going to hold Nas in high regard. So I think some of this is just contrarianism for the sake of being so. For no reason whatsoever. And again, I did see a little bit of the interview before that, and no one prefaced the conversation by saying, take away beats, take away production, take away sound, take away anything. It was just an open-ended question about lyricism in rap. And he took it upon himself to take it there with like stripping all of these things away and adding in all of these qualifiers. And I personally believe that he was doing that because he likes being different for the sake of being different. And I say that respectfully. I say that as an individual who actually respects Lupe. But some people like being different for the sake of it. They just want to be on the other side of the fence because they know that they can be alone and be distinct and stand out in that way. But I don't agree. I actually think that the argument behind Nas's lyricism would have made more sense years ago. I think, from the standpoint of taking away beats and things like that, I feel as though Nas has become more beat proof as he's advanced in his age and career more so before. I feel like when he was younger in his Illmatic and like in the Illmatic days and like the Godson days and the I Am days and all of that kind of stuff, he was more beat dependent because he was so in his bag with the off beat, off cadence, off flow, non-rhyming bars that I would say most uber lyrical guys are probably synonymous with. But ever since he got more on the modern tip with Stillmatic and everything that came after that, the King's Diseases and the Magic stuff with Hit Boy, he's actually more beat proof because he's rapping more on beat now, and he does more actual intentional rhyming now instead of doing the off rhyming stuff that he used to do in his earlier career. So even though his production value has increased, I would argue that he's more beat proof now because it's easier to follow along with a lot of his rhymes because he actually rhymes more now than he used to. So the claim that if you strip the beats away, how do you evaluate him as a lyricist, to me, doesn't hold as much weight as it used to be able to when he used to be more beat dependent, as far as I can tell, because he rhymed more offbeat and didn't rhyme as much. So that's my take on that. That's my opinion. Overall, I think Lupe is being different for the sake of being different, which is consistent with his, I would say, personality. He's kind of always been that way. But just because a contrarian is being a contrarian doesn't make them right all the time. Like, just because you're different doesn't mean that you're correct, even though he is entitled to his opinion. And I do respect him and his vast knowledge. I'm going to have to disagree with him on this one. I don't think that that's the case. I think Nas is actually quite lyrical.
Yep. Yeah. And, same here, man. A lot of respect for Lupe, man. Food and Liquor is still an all-time favorite for me. So, and I did listen to his latest piece of work. Very lyrical, man. The guy's snapping. Very complex. A lot of galaxy brain lyrics going on in there. So, not surprised here that in a conversation, he's also complex and galaxy brain. So that's just how he rolls. So that's what makes his music what it is. So it's no shade, but I just think that some things are, is vanilla ice cream better, or you're a Neapolitan kind of guy? Well, if you remove the dairy from the container, like, come on, man, I ain't asked you that. I said Neapolitan or vanilla, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, he doing too much with that explanation, bro. And at least for me, the punchline thing, at the time. So when we were in high school, bro, I started listening to a lot of Cassidy freestyles, man. When he was just, traveling around with Swiss Beats and hopping on local radio stations, either in Philadelphia, New York, wherever he was at, and people would record him and upload him to Kazaa or whatever. And, so I'm listening to all of these freestyles. I mean, and to this day, I still go back and listen to some of those. The guy was absolutely snapping, in my opinion. It was bar after bar of punchline after punchline, just one after the next. I've heard punchlines before. I've heard people use punchlines a lot, but I never heard it bar after bar after bar. My brain was exploding. You know what I'm saying? Just endorphins all over the place. So I'm going crazy in school with it. And people telling me, man, you got to listen to Big L, man. You got to listen to Big L. If you think Cassidy's good, you got to listen to Big L. And I'm like, well, who's Big L? So then I started doing my homework on Big L. And yeah, punchline after punchline. And this is like a 95. 90, whatever that was, and just boom, 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 bar after bar after bar. Up until that point, I have never heard people rap like that. Then it started to grow wings. I'm not saying Cassidy did it. I'm just saying it started to grow wings of this is what people do now. Wayne really took it and ran with it, where every line, you're not really telling a story anymore. You're just giving punchline after punchline.
Ludicrous.
Was absolutely my favorite. You know what I'm saying? So, and Luda really he never really told a story either, per se. It was themed music with punchline after punchline, but it still wasn't like Cassidy punchlines. I mean, the guy was just nuts with it, in my opinion. So that wave of early 2000s and then up into the 2010s was just that's what everybody's style was. And then if you don't know how to do punchlines at that point, then people not really listening to you, checking for you, blah, please. Jay-Z did it before too, but he's telling a story to line you up for a punchline. You know, it's different than after every line. So to bring it all in, if that's in your bag to give punchlines, then that's good enough. You know, that means you got a left hand dribble. You can finish with your left. You know, it's like, oh man, you know, you can actually hoop. But just because you can dribble with your left and finish with your left and you can't do anything else, like a lot of rappers nowadays, you still can't hoop. You can do that, but what else can you do? So Nas has that in his bag. He does it enough for me to let me know he can do that. But he'd rather do other things. He'd rather tell a story. He'd rather have a whole theme of something and then deliver it to you. And to me, I think that's just better artsmanship. And so I think Nas is just an all-around hooper. You know, he's not going to be ranked number one on the punchline list, but just because he don't do that doesn't mean that he should be completely not thought of and you can just list a whole bunch of rappers over him. Like I'm not going to do that. Not on my list. So yeah, man, I think punchlines is a part of the game. I think it's gotten oversaturated. I think people live too much for the punchline. And I think that if you have more of a style of you storytelling, other things, and you got punchlines in there, a name drop here and there, hey, it's all good, man. But if you just like, yeah, name drop it. Like if you just the game and every bar is a name drop, it's corny. So mix it up, have a bag, and I think Nas has that. So as far as an overall lyricist, he's at the top of my list. He may not be number one because I'm not going to sit here and stratify, but he's definitely in my top 5. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts on the punchlines, man. I think it's too much. It's too overblown. And I think people just need to realize that it's just a move in your package. It shouldn't be your entire package.
I'm actually surprised that he would even evaluate punchlines because it's not even his style. So right. It just surprises me that he would even incorporate that into his evaluation process. Because yeah, I mean, I liken the punchline rapper to the basketball player who has a whole lot of ball skills, but you can't really win with them as your best player. Like,
right.
What good is all of your, like, I get it. Kyrie can dribble really good and do all of these moves, and he's real good one-on-one. But if he's your best player, you're not even going to make the postseason. And at the end of the day, what good is that if you can't even win the championship? Like, you can't even have a chance. Like, at best, Kyrie Irving has to be your second best player. Mm-hmm. Under no circumstances can Kyrie Irving be your best player. You have 0 chances to win. And that's what I like in the punchline rapper too. I can't listen to an entire album of this. And at that point, what is the value of that? Like, I can acknowledge that you have a mercurial skill, but I want to be able to put something in my ear and listen to it for 14, 15 songs strong without skipping.
Right.
And if I can't do that because you're just a one-note, one-dimensional artist, what is the value of your punchlines anyway? Who cares? That's why I don't even really factor that into my evaluation of lyricism, because lyricism to me it embodies all of those other things. It embodies cadence, flow, and storytelling. And yes, it does embody, there's some technical aspects of it too, because you have to be able to identify the right kind of sonic measurements that go with your rapping style. Like, it's one of the reasons why it's one of the reasons that I respect Rick Ross for. I don't got a whole lot of love for Rick Ross as an artist, but one thing I always respected about him is he knew how to identify the right kind of production to suit his rapping style to make him sound better as a rapper. And that to me goes into the package. So to your point, it's an all-around evaluation. It's not just, can you deliver punchlines?
Correct.
But you know, when it comes to Lupe, I guess he goes into this thing where you want to strip away all of this, every other aspect of the music, and just look at words, which again, I don't even know if that makes sense to me, because if I take Nas's words and write them down on a pad, I'm gonna be like, this is some real thought-provoking stuff.
His stuff is gonna be studied.
Yeah,
and that's not hyperbolic. They're gonna study his stuff later.
I think they already are. Like that, Nas's lyrics are already being studied. Like Nas is gonna have lyrics in the Smithsonian before he dies. So I don't even know where that's coming from, other than you just wanting to be contrarian, honestly. And again, your critiques about the whole punchline stuff, I get it, because punchline rapping was a thing for sure. And does Nas rap? Like I look at a guy like Fabulous. Fabulous to me is a tremendous technical rapper, and he's good with the punchlines. He's good with the bars. I have never been able to listen to a Fabulous album and safely say I like the majority of the songs on it. I've never been able to do it. Like some have come close, like the Low Souls Way, that came close, but I still had more skips than not, even though he could rap his ass off. But Fabulous is another one of these guys where it's like, in a vacuum, like I remember years ago when him and Jadakiss did that album, the Freddie versus Jason, and there's one of the songs on there, I think it's produced by Swiss Beats. I think they sample Marvin Gaye or something on it. And on Fabulous's first verse, this dude finds like 8 different ways to use the words jump or jumper. Like, you gotta listen. You gotta go back and listen to it. I think the name of the song is Theme Music or Themes Music. Theme Music, I think, is the name of it. The first time Fabulous gets on the track, the guy finds like 8 different ways to use the word jumper. Like I don't know how long it takes for somebody to do that. It's some of the most impressive rapping I've ever heard in a singular verse. So if that's the kind of stuff you're talking about, then I guess I understand where Lupe is coming from. I still don't concede the point, though, because I think it's far more than being able to deliver those punchlines. But if that's the angle to which he's looking at it from, I guess I can understand it. But Nas, to me, towers head and shoulders above all of those guys who you would identify as great, witty, metaphor-induced, punchline-laden rappers. So, that's how I see that one. So I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree with Lupe on that one.
Yeah, a little bit too galaxy brain for me. To me, that's a pretty straight up take, either yes or no. Is he at the top of the list? Is he not? Because the question was about punchlines, and so that was, to me, that was a little more direct of an answer that should have been given there. So because he said what he said there, I do feel like you said, man, that was a little bit too contrarian for the sake of contrarianisms. But hey, man, that's what makes Lupe Lupe. He is an out of the box rapper, so his hot takes are going to be out of the box. So I guess I can't fault him for that.
Yeah, shouts out to Lupe. It is what it is, but I can't get down with that. I've heard way too many Nas bars at this point to ever concede a point that he could ever not be really lyrical. So,
agreed.
It is what it is, man. Shouts out to Lupe. Yeah. Now we move on to India.Arie, who is doubling down on comments that she made in reference to Young Miami, or more specifically, the current Young Miami single that is hot in the streets right now. Some are calling it the song of the summer.
Who declares that anyway?
the streets.
My bad for questioning the streets.
For anybody who has not heard this song, I encourage you to go listen to it. It is available anywhere you listen to or stream music. You can check it out on YouTube. It's called Spin That. Spin That, of course, that is spelled D-A-T.
Of course.
By Young Miami. And it's basically a song glorifying scammers and dudes willing to spend money, and how Young Miami likes being with a scammer dude, a criminal, a guy who is willing, ready, and able to spend his money. India.Arie is, of course, not a fan of this variety of music, and she is warning against ingratiating oneself to this brand of music too much. She thinks that it's important that you should monitor what you listen to, using this song as a case study. Some people have criticized her for those remarks, but she is doubling down. She is not backing off of that. So this says India.Arie doubles down on spin that and music executive criticism. Make wise choices. India.Arie has doubled down on her criticism of Young Miami's spin that and the legacy of the late music executive Clive Davis. In a video post shared on her Substack titled Clarity, Coercion, Celebration, the Grammy-winning singer-songwriter clarified that she doesn't think people should boycott Miami's rising hit, but she does think listeners need to be more aware of what they're supporting. She also used the opportunity to celebrate the 20th anniversary of her third studio album, Testimony Volume 1, Life and Relationship, but stressed that it was wrongly reported that she was the one calling for a boycott of the song. So let's listen to India.Arie instead of me reading this. So here's India.Arie clarifying but doubling down on her remarks.
Oh boy. Hello. Hey, hello. That's the Erykah Badu version, by the way. Hello. Hey, hello. Okay. I have marks for my glasses. My third album, Testimony Volume 1, Life and Relationship, turned 20 years old on Friday the 27th. It snuck up on me. Somebody had to tell me. And so that's why I'm making a video right now instead of writing about this on my Substack, which if you know me, you know I like writing on my Substack. And you don't need to see that bowl back there. Okay. And I've been in the blogs a couple times this last week. And so I wanted to come and talk about these things. Let's talk about the easy one first. It is being wrongly reported that I think we should boycott this song of the summer. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I refuse to sing that song, but either you know what it is or you don't. And if you don't, you can go find it. It's very easy. But I don't think we should boycott. What I want is to see people understand the power of words and music and to make choices that are healthy for them. That's what I want. Do I think it matters what I want for people? No. I have finally learned that it doesn't matter and that there's no amount of sacrificing my life force energy that is going to make anybody want anything better for themselves. All I can do is emanate what I emanate, stand for what I stand for, and hope that it reaches who it's meant to reach. And that's it. And that's all I'm going to do. And so my comment makes it very clear that I don't think we should boycott. My comment is tantamount to everybody doesn't want the same thing. And there are a lot of people who are saying it's just a song. Well, if that's what you think, enjoy. But what I know is that music has power. But of course, I have used that power to help some people. And I have traveled around this world twice. And I see the impact of what we export out of the Black American experience to the rest of the world. Longer story for another time, but I've seen it. So I know, and I'm telling you what it is, but you enjoy if that's what you want to do. And I will enjoy doing what I want to do. And that's why I don't think anybody needs to boycott. I think people just need to make choices for themselves. That's what I think. That's one.
Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Very well said too, as I might add. And so I guess I can include the comments that she made about Clive Davis towards the bottom, just because it was included in those talking points. She also addressed recent comments she made about the late Clive Davis in a series of posts on Threads after his death on June 22nd at 94. Any dominant record label at which Clive Davis was at the top for 5 decades hurt lots of artists getting there. When people talk about the music industry being so awful, it's the record label executives that do that. The point I'm making is that no record label executive who is dominant in this business is ethical. She said that she has plenty of negative experiences with music executives, detailing a story about when she was told she looked too muscular and looked like Serena on the original cover of her album. The record was released by Motown, which Sylvia Rhone was the president of at the time. While she didn't initially name this music executive directly, she later let Rhone's name slip when describing how she went behind her back to get Akon on a remix of I Am Not My Hair, despite Arie not wanting to work with him. So there is India.Arie. There are her comments about this song of the summer, which is a clear allusion to this Young Miami song, Spin That. She talks about, our cultural exports worldwide and how music plays an important role, which are things that I personally have mentioned on this channel before. So what do you make of India.Arie's comments there?
Yeah, I'm glad that she cleared the air. So, I mean, she was firm in her stance there. She didn't use the term boycott. So for her to get on air and say that, I didn't say boycott, but pretty much saying that everybody has their own bag and this is not mine, so I choose not to listen to it. I mean, she chooses not to even say the name of it. So I guess it's the spirit of boycotting, but she didn't necessarily say boycott the song. So yeah, for her clearing the air on that, I guess that's pretty solid. But yeah, point well taken in the fact that there's people out here that don't want to hear the truth in the situation, that this is a horrendous song. Not simply because it's noise pollution, because whenever I hear it, I cringe. It's also the message in the song. And there's a lot of people fighting tooth and nail to make this the song of the summer, to make it the anthem of their life. That they have to go boosting and scamming and spinning blocks on ops. I mean, where have we gotten where, and you don't even, like, even if you from the hood, even if you in the trenches, I mean, you can understand where the song is coming from, but that's not even everybody's lifestyle in the hood. Everybody don't do that. Everybody's not about scamming. And to make this seem like this is music that authentically represents our people, it's ridiculous. I think the song has it's bottom of the pits. Let's be honest. It is the bottom of the barrel. It's the scummiest of scum, and the people are eating it up. So do you want to put yourself out there? Do you want to, go to those people that are calling this an anthem, the people that are living by this? Do you want to actually walk up to them and say, no, don't listen to this? I mean, this is exactly what Morpheus was telling Neo in the Matrix. And he said, hey man, you can try to unplug these people if you want, but some of these people are so connected to the Matrix that they'll try to kill you. They'll try to take you out for trying to save them. So what sense does it make to go to these people that are playing this song on repeat and coming to them and telling them that, hey, you shouldn't listen to this. Hey, music is more than just a good time. It's actually programming. So it's not only programming you or your genetics. Okay, it's controlling an entire demographic of people, and the fruits of it are going to show up this summer, and it's also going to show up throughout the rest of our history. Yeah, it is that deep. This ain't Lupe Fiasco Galaxy Brain here. This is literally how music works, and especially if it's getting crowned song of the summer. Okay, that this is a song that's going to be around for years to come. I mean, it's got the Miami bop to it, so this is definitely going to be an early vibe song for years to come. And people are going to be playing this to get ready to the club, to get ready to go to the club. They're going to play it to the club. They're going to play it in the club. So this song is deeper than just the song of this summer. This song is going to go on into perpetuity because people are gravitating towards it like they are right now. And so we need to let people know. Well, India.Arie is trying to let people know that this is something that you shouldn't get behind, because there's subsequent actions that follow listening to this stuff on repeat. But again, by her coming out and saying that, yeah, the people that were in the Matrix started attacking her. I mean, so much so, and blogs and everything's running, and now she's getting criticism from all angles. So she felt like she had to clear the air. Like, hey, I'm not telling y'all not to listen to this, but I'm also saying that there's people out here that you can't save. I'm talking to y'all, and I'm not trying to save people that don't want to be saved. Well said. So if there's anybody out there on the fence that's that's struggling with 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the ratchetness, yeah, man. That feeling inside you saying that maybe I shouldn't listen to this song. Yeah, no, I don't want to scam. No, they don't want a scamming boyfriend or nothing like that. But the song slaps to them. Maybe you shouldn't listen to it. Maybe you don't want to be around people that do that. And I think that's best for you. So if you're on the fence, there's a good side of this fence. So, but for the people that's out there that's in the trenches with it and they love every second of it because they're scammers or whatever themselves, to each their own, man. I'm not going to tell you not to listen to it because you're not going to listen to me anyway. So what are your thoughts, man, on India.Arie clearing the air saying, hey, I didn't say boycott this song, okay? But what I am saying is that it has a control over people more than you thought. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I agree with her and I agree with you. There is an imbalanced representation of this music. If the song of the summer alternated from one year to the next between a positive song and a, let's just say non-positive, because I don't want to say negative. So let's just say non-positive. If the song of the summer alternated between positive and non-positive, then I'd say to myself, okay, well, this is non-positive's year. So, they have their year. Next year, it'll go back to something positive, at which point that positive song will be the chief cultural export of this music genre to the worldwide audience that consumes it and formulates perceptions about the people who participate in the music and the communities that they come from, because they otherwise don't have firsthand experience with any of those individuals. But we don't have that balance. What we have every year is songs like this being heralded as Song of the Summer. So once again, my point of contention isn't necessarily with this song specifically. It's with the culture around the music and the fact that it's this type of song that is more often than not being made synonymous with the overall culture of the community of the practitioners who use it, who listen to it, and who make it. The point that she made about how you are identified to people abroad because of your cultural export, I couldn't stress that point enough. It's the point that I made when we talked about 50 Cent, who got upset because he felt as though his Power show was snubbed. He felt as though it shouldn't have been snubbed for awards because he feels as though it authentically represents Black and Latino communities. Those are his words. Now, he didn't say my Power show authentically represents Black and Latino communities growing up in South Side of Queens during the 80s and the 90s. He didn't qualify it along those lines. And I refuse to believe that he couldn't do that, because I have been led to believe that 50 Cent, for all intents and purposes, is an intelligent individual. So you're not going to be able to have it both ways, where I am to believe that you are intelligent, but then when you are not intelligent to do something as intentional as to clarify your words, I'm going to then give you a pass for not understanding the importance of doing so. No, if you are an intelligent person, then you understand that at all times it's important to qualify what you mean. And in that instance, he didn't qualify what he meant. He said it blanketly, that show authentically represents Black and Latino communities, period. He didn't say in New York. He didn't say in Queens. He didn't say in New York or Queens in the late 80s or early 90s. He just said overall, it authentically represents us. The danger inherent in those kinds of comments is when your chief export is content like that, the rest of the world is going to view your community as being authentically represented by that kind of content. And you might think it's not a big deal, but I disagree. I believe that this particular song of the summer, if it is declared the song of the summer and it's performed enough and it's streamed enough and it's played enough in clubs overseas or played enough in clubs stateside where there aren't a whole lot of people who look like Miami in those places, you are going to perpetuate the ongoing narrative that there are certain themes and tropes and behavioral traits inherent in a lot of the people who come from the community represented in this music. I don't think that that's a positive thing personally. Now, again, if there was more balance and there was at least an egalitarian representation to the music in terms of tone, you'd hear nothing coming from me. But we don't live in that world. We currently live in a world where more often than not, like I said, this is what is being called the song of the summer, or the next City Girl song, or the next Megan Thee Stallion song, or the next Cardi B song, or the next Ice Spice songs. Those are the songs that are being called the song of whatever, or the anthem of whatever. And I do think that that is problematic from a cultural standpoint. And I appreciate people who are courageous enough to leverage their platform to at least exclaim that and not be afraid to do so, because it needs to be said more often than not. Again, do I want to be the person who is positioned as anti-rap or anti-hip-hop or anti-rapper? Not necessarily, especially given the frame of reference that I come from, being brought up in this culture, because I truly was. But at the end of the day, this idea that it's this kind of song or this kind of content specifically that is synonymous with the culture overall is what I have come to become very uncomfortable with. And so long as that is the prevailing wisdom, I am going to have to continue to champion people like India.Arie who are making comments like this.
Yep. And by the way, you know, people operate on frequencies and vibes and stuff like that. So people call them vibes, short for vibrations, which are frequencies, which are what people operate off of. And if your frequency is at a low vibrational state, due to environmental things, due to how you were raised, X, Y, or Z, there's a lot of people in our community that are hurt right now. I don't know if you've heard about this phenomenon going on right now with this Woo Lady thing. Have you heard of Woo Lady?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's literally just started happening this past week. But she from Miami. She go on live and she talks about trick culture. So these girls will come on the stream and she'll tell them, you gotta get your nails done, you gotta get, just so you can get a trick. And she telling girls to come on down to Miami so you can get a trick, and there's guys spending thousands of dollars in her live that are the tricks from Miami. So there's people giving think pieces all over TikTok about what they think this Woo Lady's doing, and they're calling her a madam. They're saying that these tricks are actually pimps, and that there's this whole thing going on. And these girls, I mean, there's tens of thousands of people in her TikTok lives, bro. So it's a whole phenomenon, and there's a discussion going on between Black people that's telling other Black women to not get involved with this lifestyle. And then there's the women, which I'm shocked. I really am shocked about how many women come to the defense of this tricking lifestyle, because they're like, hey man, it's actually, sex work. Like you're gonna have to give up the box in order to do this. These guys ain't just giving up money. But there's women that are completely aware of that, apparently, and content with that. And they're coming to the defense. They got thousands of likes on their crazy comments. And there's like, y'all can't get me off Woo Lady. I love Woo Lady, blah, please, blah, blah, blah. And I'm bringing that up because yes, it had a Miami thing to it too, but it's also a context of there's people out here that know that they're doing things that are off. But these people are, in my opinion, these women that's backing up this trick lifestyle, that's behind being with a scammer and all this other stuff. Like you think this is like low bottom of the barrel stuff, and in a lot of regards it is. But there's so many people that are hurt people that they're doing it, and it's a righteous cause, and they fight for that because their vibrational states are so low from the food they eat, from the television programs they've been watching, from the environment they live in, you name it. It's a whole concert of things that are contributing to these people having such a low vibrational state. And that songs like this on the back end become a need for these people. Those people are making it the song of the summer, not other people. And there's so many hurt people right now that songs like that are it becomes an anthem. So there can be people like us and India.Arie that go, hey man, that's not the way, or look at what you mean, like how it represents us as a people abroad or in our own communities, the blase splees. They don't want to hear any of that because they're literally operating on different frequencies. So if you will, we're talking on FM right now, and their radios are tuned in on AM. And so they don't hear it. And so we can say what we want, blah, 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 blah. It comes off as hate. It comes off as out of touch. It comes off as everything else. So we can say these things. We can tell the young Miamis of the world to not make these songs. We can tell the people out there that's blasting it every day that they shouldn't listen to it. But the frequencies that they're living on right now are in that space. So it's not just Young Miami. There's going to be a more disgusting song that comes out later on this year, next summer. And it's only going to get worse because these people are begetting other people. and it's having its effect. So yeah, man, it's sad. It's honestly sad. The only thing that we can do is to speak to people and hopefully it gets through. But there's a real friction here because we're having two different conversations. Theirs is a righteous ratchetness, and ours is an uppity, not understanding frequency.
No, I understand what you're saying. I do. It's like telling a woman who's on OnlyFans that she's morally bankrupt. That's the benefit of being able to redefine what morals are. Mm-hmm. Because if I come to you and I say being on OnlyFans means you're morally bankrupt, you mm-hmm. can come back to me and say, well, my morals don't stipulate as such. I have a different moral code that I live by. I can define my morals how I want. Morality isn't a uniform standard. So because I can create my own definition so that I can live within them by my own design, I don't feel as though I'm morally bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that is what social anarchy stipulates, is that there are no more standards for anything, and people can essentially create the universe as they envision so that they can essentially do whatever they want.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That's what it boils down to for sure. So these ideas, these notions that we kick around here, like tricking, like sex working, like morality, like standards, these things are completely blurred and no longer have a dictionary definition that you can look up. It's literally being interpreted based upon one's individual design. Mm-hmm. So if I can make up my own standards of morality, I can live however I want and know that I'm still being morally upfront and righteous because my own personal moral code stipulates that much. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are having two different conversations for sure. But at the end of the day, the benefit that I see in continuing to talk about this stuff is to let other people who are on similar vibrations as us know that they are not alone. That's what I get out of it, because
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in the world, because I've been this person, who have wondered whether they're the crazy one because they're not on the same wavelength as everybody else.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who still want to do things A1, but they're looking around and they're seeing nothing but chaos all around them.
Yep.
And so they're wondering whether they're doing it wrong because they're not on the chaotic wavelength.
Mhm.
And so the benefit to India.Arie or anyone else who wants to be on the right side of this stuff, the benefit to that, to me, is letting other people get some reassurance to know that they're not crazy, because they still see it one way, and they are, at least up to this point, unwilling to jump completely over the fence onto the side of complete and utter chaos.
Mhm.
Like that to me is the benefit of it. But
Wait.
no longer, I've been gave up. Look, if I concern myself with trying to convince people who believe that this song is the song of the summer, that they shouldn't look at it as the song of the summer, then I would have already been in the grave by now. I'd be dead, because I would have keeled over from exhaustion over trying to convince people of what I believe to be the right side of things. So I've been gave up on that. I don't care about that. But there's a lot of people who are like, hey man, this is kind of weird. I don't want to be on this weirdo stuff. But they might be teetering a little bit because all they see around them is weirdo stuff.
Yeah,
so
man.
it's good to let people get some reassurance to know I don't have to be on this weirdo stuff. There's still pockets of community out there where I can live in my own higher plane of vibration and not feel as though I need to compromise that in any particular way.
Yeah, well said, bro. So, we'll see what happens, man. I saw videos out there. I didn't watch it, but saw a video out there where, of course, TDD is defending this. But, what else would he do? But yeah, man, I would love to see people from Miami make songs and make their money, man. But there's also, context to whatever that song is. And I don't think this is a good song for the youth, but the youth is right now used to listening to this trash, unfortunately. So it's just another song in the playlist for them. So but yeah, man, I hope that the people that are on our wavelength stand strong, because I agree with you, man. This isn't to convince people who are already convinced. This is to speak to the people out there that are feeling like they're alone, because there was a large part of time where I was saying this back in 2008 and 9 about these songs, and a lot of I told you so energy is resting inside of me right now, because I mean the amount of trends and things that have changed over the past decades. I was of course correct, and so this song will also have its effect, but there's no convincing those people. But for people out there that do feel like, hey man, this ain't right, this is weirdo stuff, as you mentioned, yeah, y'all not alone. We agree with y'all. This ain't it, and it never will be it.
Bro, this song is mild by comparison to some of those Sexy Red songs. So
yeah, man.
Shouts out to India.Arie, man. I appreciate that. So nice to see somebody say something sensible. Well, what are you gonna do? And speaking of chaos, we move on to an individual who is inching close to being friend of the channel. About the second or third time we've brought her up here, for better or for worse. But Kayla Nicole was recently on the red carpet of, I believe it was the BET Awards.
That's right.
Which completely came and went. I didn't even know they were on. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just out of touch, right? But she was on the red carpet for this thing. And she was being interviewed, and she gave some poignant comments. She wanted to give some advice to Black men about standing up for Black women, because in her estimation, there needs to be more of it. There isn't enough of it. And so, she has, some advice for Black men when it comes to standing up for, defending, and just, being 10 toes down when it comes to Black women. So this says Kayla Nicole has one piece of advice for Black men. Kayla Nicole used a red carpet interview to deliver a message unrelated to dating rumors or celebrity headlines. While speaking with BET at the BET Awards, the media personality and podcast host was asked for advice for Black men on showing up for Black women. Nicole didn't hesitate with her answer. Black men have to do a better job at protecting Black women at all costs. I've said this before, but protection can show up in many different ways. So you know what? We'll just go ahead and let the woman speak for herself. Why don't we? So here's Kayla Nicole and the advice that she has for Black men who need to show up better for Black women.
And let me be the first to say, I love me a Black man.
Come on now.
I'm going on the record. Where's all my cameras at?
Look at all the cameras.
I love me a Black man. We got to make that clear today.
Come on now. The show called for the fellas.
Yes.
Give some advice to Black men. How can we show up better for Black women?
Black men have to do a better job at protecting Black women at all costs. I've said this before, but protection can show up in so many different ways. You know what I mean? Whether that's just like calling a homegirl and checking in on her and making sure that she's good. If that means standing up for a woman that you see that's in public, having a hard time with a man. I've seen that a lot on social media lately, right? Like if you see a woman in distress, it takes nothing for you to just tap her by the shoulder and make sure that she's good. It's a very unsafe place for Black women in this world right now. And we need y'all to show up for us, to protect us, to love on us, and to be complimentary of us. I think like a lot of Black men these days have these mics, right?
Yeah.
Podcast mics is a dangerous thing.
Not using it the right way.
And they're not always used for the right thing. So we really have to start speaking positively, pour light into us, and stand by us. You know what I'm saying? Because 10 times out of 10, y'all come from a Black woman. Y'all come from us.
Oh man, hey, I didn't know she was a stand-up comedian, bro. that was comedy gold right there, man.
Let's see. Since 2025, much of the public conversation around Nicole is centered on her former relationship with Travis Kelce. Following Kelce's engagement to Taylor Swift, Nicole repeatedly found herself in headlines after recreating Toni Braxton's "He Wasn't Man Enough for Me" video for Halloween, appearing on stage with Braxton months later, and starring in a Super Bowl commercial that sparked widespread online discussion. Nicole has since addressed many of those moments herself. She revealed that Braxton personally invited her to perform after seeing the Halloween tribute, reflected on her breakup with Kelce, describing it as potentially right person, wrong time, and told TMZ she's single as a dollar bill while keeping her dating life casual. Well, whatever that means.
Yeah, we know what that means.
At the same time, she's continued expanding her career outside of sports media. Along with hosting the pregame podcast, Nicole has fronted campaigns for brands including Skin Butter. So I'm sure that this makes nothing but total sense, right? What do you make of Kayla Nicole saying Black men need to do a better job of showing up for Black women?
You know, it was a lot of "it sounds good" on there. If there was a woman going through distress in public, for one, and that's why I was so audible about that was a verbal gasp. And she's sitting there, if there's a woman in distress, tap her in public, tap her to see if she's all right. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? You might get sprayed with mace. You know, there's a situation going on right now, man, where there's no trust going on across the board between men and women. Nicole would say that it's because Black men haven't been doing enough protecting, which is why women don't feel safe while they're out. So if somebody is trying to help them, then they're seen as a threat. I remember in college, bro, I'm walking, a girl drops her ID. You know, I see it literally fall from wherever she was carrying it. I'm behind her. I pick it up and I go, "Hey, excuse me. She starts walking faster. I'm like, so I get louder, "Excuse me." So she turns around, agitated, like I'm trying to holler at her or something. So she turns around agitated. What is it? Well, yeah, you know. And I'm like, you dropped your ID. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I was like, man, I felt like calling her every expletive in the book at that moment. You know, I felt, you know, a little self-righteous at that moment because A, I would have did that for anybody. But B, it was like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad she sees that not everybody that's trying to get her attention is trying to harm her or trying to holler at her. All right. But nevertheless, in that context, you know, somebody could be trying to help. You know, I've seen situations where there is a woman that's actually going through it in public or whatever, and a guy actually does try to step in, but he's stepping in the wrong situation because he don't know what's going on. So this is a lot of it sounds good coming from her, and that's why I was so loud about it. You know, do I think black men need to do their jobs, and part of their job is protecting? Yeah, I do think they need to do that, but the stuff that she's mentioning as far as how men need to go about doing that, I think that that's a lot of fluff. And if a guy really actually started doing all of these things, they would be deemed, and now in today's world, creepy, clingy, or anything else, because they're trying to make sure they're trying to keep tabs on a homegirl. You know, oh, he must like me. You know, he calling to see how I'm doing. Yeah, actually, you know, yeah, I'm just trying to see how you're doing. You know, so there's a lot of confusion going on right now. So yeah, it sounds good on paper, but in practicality, her suggestions in that moment on black exploitation television sound a little bit too grandiose and not practical enough. It didn't sound rooted in actual reality. I've got more to say on the back end, but what are your thoughts on this? Kayla Nicole saying that black men need to do a better job in protecting black women. What are your thoughts, man?
I think that this is stuff that sounds good on the internet. Mm-hmm. This to me is internet hysteria. It's a fallacy. The comment insinuates that en masse, black men aren't doing a good enough job of protecting black women.
Yes.
That is a fallacy. It's not even true. It's a fallacy. Everywhere you go in regular society, in real life, mm-hmm. whether it's the grocery store or the mall, or if you go bowling, you can go to a bar or wherever you want. You go to a lounge, you can go to a live show, a concert, whatever public venue you go to, you're going to see black men who are clearly ensuring that the woman that they are with is safe and unharmed. So I think that this is a fallacy. And it's one of those things that's nice to say on the internet because mm-hmm. it's going to get a lot of the internet peanut gallery opening up and talking and running a mouth because they are abjectly miserable because they individually are miserable with their own lives, which is what the internet is. It's a place for people living in misery to congregate. It's no different than the fallacy of black men dating interracially. That's another internet hysteria fallacy. You know, there's a reason why the majority of the time that's even brought up is when we're talking about pro athletes and entertainers, basketball players and football players, actors, you know what I'm saying? Like rappers. Oh, whenever we're talking about black men dating interracially, that's your case study. The 5% of the overall population. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you, when you go to any public place, once again, if you walking in the street, you at the airport, you go to the mall, you go anywhere, grocery stores, if you point out 10 black men, at least 8 of those 10 black men are going to be with black women. En masse, black men are not dating interracially. En masse, black men, just like every other human, for the most part, keeps it within community. So this whole thing about dating out is more internet hysteria. It's a fallacy that's not happening en masse, but it nevertheless gets a lot of people running their mouth online because that's what people love to do on the internet. So these kinds of comments to me are the same. Mm-hmm. I am not seeing this advent replete throughout society of black men not protecting black men. I'm not seeing this. Where is this? Where are your case studies for this? Where are you getting this from? This is completely anecdotal. And I think she's speaking from a place of personal experience because maybe in her own life, she may have experienced instances in which she felt as though whatever black man she may have been with wasn't adequately looking out for her.
100%.
But once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. People do a very bad job, in my opinion, women in particular, more than men, do a very bad job of engaging in personal accountability. If something repeatedly happens to you, or if you're dealing with negative experiences on more than one occasion, you have to take a step back and take inventory on why it is that you continue to find yourself in those situations. That is a you problem. It's not the world problem. There's something that you're doing. There's a behavior that you're capitulating to. There are decisions you're making, whether consciously or subconsciously, that inevitably lead you into disadvantageous situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel as though you have not benefited from black men protecting you in an adequate fashion too often, it's probably because you need to take inventory as to why you keep finding yourself in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her from a can of paint, but those are the kind of comments of an individual who has dealt with certain things and now feels emboldened to make these grandiose statements. Well, these aren't things that are happening in mass. These may just be things that are happening to you and people like you.
Mm-hmm.
So unless she's talking to people like her, she owes it to the audience to qualify what she means, because these are not the observations that I'm making. I'm not seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, this is another instance of people saying things that are fallacious in nature. This isn't actually happening in mass, but it's something that sounds good online, because I'm not really seeing this. I'm seeing the opposite. Are there dysfunctional situations playing out within community? Yes, there are dysfunctional things playing out within community across other communities. May these dysfunctional situations be playing out disproportionately within ours because of the numbers statistically? Sure, you can make that claim. But once again, is it happening in mass? No, it isn't. It isn't. So what is happening to you or women like her that would lead her to believe that this is something that needs to be said because it's not happening enough? But accountability is clearly not a part of her mental codex, just like it is, unfortunately, not a part of a lot of women's mental codex. Mm-hmm. And they feel empowered to say these things because it sounds good, and it's going to nevertheless rally a lot of like-minded individuals to her side, even if what she is saying is not actually true.
Well said, bro. And and to Miss Nicole here, let's say that she is in a relationship with a black man, and she decides to walk out of the house midriff showing, cleavage on deck, ass low key hanging out of her I don't know, her romper or whatever the hell. And he says, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to change your clothes."
No, we can't have that. No. No.
Are you kidding me? That guy's controlling in her eyes.
You have to protect me in the way I want you to.
Oh,
yeah, that's what it is. I see. I'm the baddie, right? I'm the baddie. I'm right. The prize. I'm the reward. You get to be. I am the benefit to your life. Like I enhance your life merely by existing.
No.
So because I enhance your life merely as existing, I get to do whatever I want. And you have to nevertheless play by my rules and protect me in the ways that I dictate. That's how this works, sir.
Got it. So I only protect in the ways that she wants me to protect. And then in the ways that she doesn't want me to protect her there, just let her run around unprotected. So there's been enough of that going on where regular guys that would have stepped in to do protection have now, because they've been scolded enough. So they're apprehensive. You know, if there is a situation where I'm in public and a black woman is just, you know, yelling at a guy, blah, 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 you know, instinct would say, hey, man, maybe she needs help. Hey, bro, back it up. But also, I'm fully aware that I could be in the wrong by getting in their business, even though they in public yelling at the top of their lungs. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to step in and protect. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to get in a line of fire for somebody that wants this. That's a morbid example. That's what she gave. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know, if she's going through something, blah, 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 step in. Step in. Are you kidding me? So you want me to get unalived because this girl got caught, you know what I'm saying, with some crazy text message or something in the phone or whatever, and they out there arguing in public? You know, I'm not trying to do that. So, nah, man, it's crazy out here right now. But I to go back to what I've said before in previous conversations, where I think that there's a survivalistic mechanism that goes on between all women. But since we're talking about black women in particular, that protection layer, in my opinion, is a power dynamic. Black men need to be empowered more. I see you working for other men. I see you have to tuck your tail just for you to get your W-2 every year. You know, yeah, you may have your own side business or whatever over here or whatever, but there's guys out here that actual own real corporations and stuff, and they're in other communities and they're protecting their people like that. It's a financial power situation, and in mass, black men are not doing that enough. And I think that where a lot of this thing where men complain about women respecting their boss more than they respect them, that they'll listen to their boss and deal with crap from them for years and still, you know, whenever they snap their finger, they'll still do it. But, you know, as soon as she come home or as soon as she log off her computer and he said, can you wash the dishes? It's World War III. Those dynamics right there is due to a lack of, in my opinion, power. And I think men are lacking power in the way that this current system is set up. And I think that women find it, especially modernized ones, I think they find that emasculating. So I don't care how strong this guy is. I don't care how much money he's pulling in or whatever. At the end of the day, he still answers to like another man. And I think that is also where this layer of protection and stuff is also at, outside of all these other whatever things. But I think that that's like a deep rooted thing. And that's why there's like a deep rooted disrespect for a man when he has to go clock in to another man's job, and where he has to, you know, whatever else. And he's not calling his own shots. He's not his own man. And I think that because of that, they find a unattractiveness about that guy. But I could be wrong. But I think that is a dynamic that plays into this protection layer. It's a power dynamic. Men need to be, if she said that black men need to be in more power in this world, then that's less disagreeable. You know, I'd be like, really? Is she wrong if she said that? But she's saying protection, and then she's layering all of this duck stuff on there. Man,
no,
like,
she's making it seem like black men are just dropping the ball in terms of just genuinely caring for black men in general.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that of course, that's why I laugh at her, you know, because a man could do that all day long and he still would not be respected. But if a man had as much power as whatever, if a black man had as much power as whatever, he wouldn't be asked to do those things. So I think that it's a power dynamic more than an actual men need to be more courteous and more thoughtful and in all of this sucker stuff that she's recommending. Because I can guarantee you this: if there was a black man that walked up to her doing all of this stuff, she'll call him a lame. Not in his face, but definitely to her homegirl. So not buying it.
Well, one thing that some of what you said, I hear where you're coming from. One thing that I will say is, I will say that if it is a man who embodies all of that stuff that you just brought up, a woman is going to be all the more willing to acquiesce to whatever the terms of his
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, if a guy is embodying all of these intrinsic qualities that make a woman want to just submit without question, then she's also, in my opinion, going to naturally submit to whatever his protection protocols are.
Yes.
So there's never going to be an instance in which she is going to need to invoke the protection rules with him, because she's not going to get out of pocket in such a way to make him have to do something about it, because she's probably going to fall in line with whatever his terms are.
Correct.
So from that standpoint, I can concede that, but I don't think she's looking at it that way. That's the problem. Like, she's looking at it from the standpoint of, y'all just ain't doing right by us, period. and I'm confused by that, because everywhere I look, I see the opposite. But you know, again, in my opinion, this video, it kind of makes it seem like I'm anti-woman. I'm really not. I'm not anti-woman. I love women. But what I also love is accountability. I'm very big on accountability. So I call out the lack thereof whenever I spot it with anybody. I don't give a damn who you are. And in particular, when it comes to women, this is another thing that I've said before. Women don't do as good a job, I believe, as men of understanding that men and women live fundamentally different realities. So like, when a woman in her position is talking about the need for more black men to stick up for black women, she's looking at it through the prism of a black woman who is always wanting a black man to stand up for her, without taking into account the very real reality that black men live, which is there's a lot of black women in the world who are averse to any of their protection. Like they're black all men really, but since we're talking about black people in this video, black men routinely have to deal with various ways to navigate whether any woman at any given point even wants to have him around her. Because you don't know what her attitude's like. You don't know what she's thinking. Like, you know, there has been an onset behaviorally over the course of the last 10, 15, 20 years or so of women warding off men from a physical standpoint, in terms of physical proximity. Just get away from me. Don't come around me. I don't want to talk to you. You know, you trying to holler at me. I don't want your attention. I don't want your advances. I'm good. Leave me alone. Like, there's been a lot of that, like, you know, leaking into the culture for the last 15 to 20 years. And I think the reality of a man has become figuring out ways to tiptoe around that. And women sometimes forget that. They don't take it into account. They just kind of feel like men should just act like that doesn't exist and still kind of be around at all times anyway. And I just don't think that that's very practical. Like, I was in a grocery store. Literally, I just moved to a new area in South Florida, and I was at the grocery store, and nonverbal communication oftentimes speaks more loudly than what you say verbally. You don't have to say things overtly. You can just express them through your behavior and your nonverbal communication. People can pick up on that. And I'm in Publix, and I just so happen to be behind this woman who was also. You ever been in a public place? You're going somewhere, and another person is going the same place. So it just so happens that y'all are going in the same direction, but you're not following them. You're not trying to be around them. Y'all are just going in the same direction.
Correct.
So there was this black woman, and I just so happened to be behind her in Publix. And she was an attractive woman. She looked good. I give her a solid 8 out of 10, I would say.
That's solid.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to the produce section because I need to buy Brussels sprouts, grapes, and some lettuce. Okay. So she's in produce. We just so happen to be going in the same direction. Awkwardly, every time she makes a turn, I make a turn. But I'm not following her. She just is going to the same place I'm going to. Like, I'm trying to get to the Brussels sprouts. Mm-hmm. After about the third time that I was behind her because she made a turn and then I make the same turn, she's on her phone and she looks back at me with this dismissive look like, oh my God, why are you following me? Did she say that? No. But I'm 40 years old. I've been around enough women to know what they are saying. Like, I've been around enough women to know what they are saying non-verbally. Mm-hmm. And she gave me this dismissive look, the look of dismissiveness on her face when she turned and looked at me, said it all. Mm-hmm. I know what she was thinking without her saying anything. What she was thinking was, oh, this dude trying to figure out a way to try to talk to me somehow. And it couldn't have been anything further from the truth. I literally was trying to beeline it to the Brussels sprouts. Right. But she was going in my same direction, so there's nothing I can do about it unless I wanted to go completely out of my way to take longer to get to my destination, just so that she can know I'm not affirming all of her suspicions.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, ordinarily I might do that, but on this particular day, I'm exhausted. I just came from a 3-hour workout at the gym. I ain't got time for all of this foolishness.
I feel that too.
I'm trying to get my stuff so I can meal prep. I don't care about what you got going on.
Agreed.
But that was clearly what was going through her head. So, like, I think that is a lot of men's day-to-day reality when it comes to women they don't know. Much less black men. I mean, if we want to center it to black people, I think that's a lot of black men's day-to-day reality of having to figure out ways to navigate, tiptoe around that kind of stuff. But this chick will be the chick who I was in front of in Publix. She'll be the first person who gets on her Instagram live throwing black men under the bus, talking about how they need to do this or don't need to do that. Mm-hmm. And you need to pick one. Which is it? So, I think that's a lot of black men's, if not all men in general's, day-to-day reality and having to navigate that. And I think a lot of women don't take that into consideration when they make these kinds of comments. They just shoot off from the hip saying black men need to do more of this and men need to do less of that. Mm-hmm. They do a very poor job of acknowledging the diametrically opposed realities that we come from. They don't give enough respect to that part of the conversation. And I think she fell into that sand trap with these kinds of comments, whether she realizes it or not.
Yeah, well said, bro. And bro, that's I live in a apartment complex where there's a lot of different cultures here. I'll say that. Not too many people of mine. There's just different cultures here. And on top of that, if there are people that are like me, it's not very many. All right. So just the other day, man, it was a older, abuela, Mexican woman. I didn't see her. And I normally, because we got a key thing to get into the door, into the building. All right. So normally I time it so I ain't got to deal with cross-pollination here, man, because every time I enter the building or leave it, I'm a criminal to these people. I'm here every day and I'm leaving the house multiple times a day. But every time I come up here, I'm the criminal. All right. So I didn't even notice this woman. So she was already headed towards the door. I'm looking down at my phone. I look up and I see, oh, damn, and so she's struggling like I'm Michael Myers. She's fumbling for her keys. She is not getting it. She's doing so much fumbling because she's scared that I'm coming up behind her. And so I look through the door and there's some guys coming out. She don't see it because she's so busy trying to to buzz her way through. So I'm just standing 10 feet away from her, waiting for her to just open the damn door. And I can see these guys come through, and they didn't see her, so they just plow through the door. They almost hit her, and she goes, "Oh, sorry," and then rushes through. I was like, "Look, if I was Michael Myers, lady, you're unalived. You need to cut this out. This is regular behavior for me just walking around." And that's from other cultures, but similarly, people that's within my culture, I get your experience, and it is exhausting. I shouldn't have to live that way. You shouldn't have to live that way.
That's
And so, like you said, like, because when you were telling that story, I was like, bro, I just would have went like, okay, this is where we going. Let me just, do that. And you say, hey, no, man, I just finished working out, and I wasn't in the mood for that. And you know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to do this as black men. Should we have to do this? No, we shouldn't. So, nah, man, like, we do go out of our way to make sure that these women are safe and do all this stuff, and we're not that guy, but that's very exhausting. And, and I'm gonna start putting my foot down. And if I start walking around, nah, man, if I'm going in that direction, I'm going in that direction. Because that story that you just told, that pissed me off. No, I'm not dodging this no more, man. And if I'm walking this way, I'm walking this way. But yeah, man, we shouldn't have to capitulate to these people's weird narratives that they got in their brain, man. I'm just trying to do my shopping, or I'm just trying to walk into my building.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like, we do go out of our way. There are a lot of good men out here, and not everybody's a scumbag, but we got painted that. Maybe it's because there's songs out there like, you know what I'm saying, X, Y, or Z that has men painted in a bad light. Maybe they dated guys that like songs like that. And,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm getting painted with that brush. So what's the harm in spinning that? There is harms in these things. And we do that on, see, it's not stereotypes if it's within the community, right? Wrong.
Right.
And I get stereotyped by my own people all the time.
Yeah.
So we need to stop that. So we need to protect each other. How about that, Miss Nicole? How about that one, man? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Plus, think about it like this. This is when I started doing this a lot less, because when I was in college, I did this a lot. In college, when I noticed that women were just always looking for any reason to get away from a guy, I started to go out of my way to try to make it abundantly clear that I am not a threat.
Correct.
And you know what the result of that was? Nothing. I was never rewarded for that, ever. You think all of those years of me trying to show women that I'm not a threat, do you think that it amounted to anything? No. Those same women still had the perceptions of whatever perceptions that they were holding on to about me or any other man in any given situation. They don't stop looking at the world that way. Right. So I stopped doing that as much as I used to, because I realized there's no benefit. I'm not helping anything. I'm not helping the situation. That chick that looked at me dismissively in Publix, even if I had gone out of my way to turn around and walk in the opposite direction, she's going to go about the rest of her life still looking at the world that way.
Yep.
The next guy who might be behind her, just trying to walk to the grapes or the bananas, she's still going to react in the same fashion. Yep. So I'm not actually fixing anything by going in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Very, very true.
So
bro.
I might as well just keep going whatever the hell way I'm going.
You're damn right, man.
and I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, man, like, and look, we all need to do a better job of understanding our respective realities. I couldn't get onto this show and say women need to be more friendly in public. Like, how silly would it be for me to say, women, when they're walking alone at night, should be more friendly and smile to people? That's a silly comment to make, because I have to understand that a woman's reality is such that if you do that at the wrong place at the wrong time, you could be in imminent danger.
Correct.
So I can't make statements like that. That's an irresponsible, dumb thing to say.
Right.
So let's make sure that the door swings both ways on that. Too many of these chicks want to try to talk about how men should be behaving in any given situation, as if we aren't aware of and have already tried that. And we're getting met with all kinds of mixed signals because of your erratic behavior.
100%, bro.
So So for the most part now, I go whichever direction I plan to go. Because whether I turn around or not, you're still gonna think I'm a creep, or I'm trying to holler at you, or I'm trying to do this or that, or whatever it is that you've conjured up in your mind that probably isn't even true.
100%, bro. Yeah, man. Hey, thanks, Miss Kayla Nicole. You just helped me just double down, and I'm just doing whatever I want at this point, because to hell what y'all thinking out there, man. So thank you. I didn't even really notice that. I know I do that, but I didn't realize how much I was compromising myself for somebody that don't even give a damn.
And gonna continue.
They don't even give a damn. And I'm not trying to beget craziness out here in this world. I'm just confident enough in myself to not give a damn what somebody else has to think about me walking in the same direction as them. How about that? So thank you, Miss Nicole. I'm one step closer to protecting Black women now.
Yeah, man. She gets 1,000 lashes for that. I'm sorry.
That was a good one.
And now we got friend of the channel, Stephen A. Smith, who's in a little bit of internet hot water because he went off on the Lakers front office moves thus far during NBA free agency, criticizing them for anchoring their team around a bunch of white players. Stephen A. Smith believes that no team can ever reach the promised land when their best players are white dudes. He said as much on his show, and now people are coming for his rap online because they feel as though they were offensive comments that he made. So we'll go ahead and see what Mr. Smith had to say here. Well, Stephen A. Smith, friend of the channel, of course. So this says, Stephen A. Smith sparks backlash with 3 white dudes take on Lakers. Life after LeBron James was always going to invite questions. 8 seasons, a championship, multiple playoff runs, and countless roster overhauls left the Los Angeles Lakers searching for a new identity the moment the 4-time MVP moved on. With Luka Doncic now positioned as the franchise centerpiece and Rob Pelinka reshaping the roster around him, nearly every offseason move has been picked apart by fans and analysts eager to decide whether Los Angeles is actually built to contend. That's just another level after ESPN's Stephen A. Smith weighed in on the Lakers' new core. Rather than focusing solely on fit or production, Smith questioned whether a team led by Luka, Austin Reeves, and newly acquired Walker Kessler could realistically compete for a championship. Repeating for 3 white dudes. He doubled down on the point, saying, what the hell do the Los Angeles Lakers think they are doing with a bunch of white? This is basketball. In NBA history, when have you seen your 3 most prominent players on the basketball team all be white? And what takes you to the and that promised land? I think that's what that's supposed to say. Let's see. So here are a couple of comments here. Stephen has now most likely said something that's going to shift the entire course of his career, and this is it. You might be able to think certain thoughts, but saying them on your big-ass platform is ultimately problematic. This is the one they've been waiting for. And then here's another comment here. Excuse me. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and to freedom of speech. That said, something tells me this is one that's going to need to be walked back because it's a very dangerous angle to take. The color of a person's skin should never be part of evaluating someone's talent, value, etc. So let's go ahead and play Mr. Friend of the channel, Stephen A. Smith's comments. There we go. So let me get out of this. And I'm going to let's share this real quick. All right, so here's a friend of the channel, Stephen A. Smith, and his criticism of the Lakers going in the direction of anchoring their franchise around 3 white players.
This is the number to call. I just got to say it, y'all. Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes? Somebody had to say it, so I'm saying it. Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. And we got a whole bunch of brothers on Team USA. What y'all think this is? This is basketball. This is basketball. In NBA history, when have you seen your 3 most prominent players on a basketball team all be white? And that takes you to the promised land. Somebody got to say it, so I'm saying it. All right, to the leadership of Sirius XM, Eric Spitz, Steve Torrey, Mad Dog Russo. Sorry if it makes y'all uncomfortable. Love y'all. Y'all know that. But damn it, we did it. I'm a brother. Basketball. I'm not complaining. I'm simply.
All right, so there you go. That gets the point across. So I guess there's some backlash when it comes to him making these comments. What did you think about what he said there?
I mean, I don't think anybody had to say it. I think he said, "Oh yeah, somebody had to say it." And I'm gonna say it. First of all, I don't think anybody needs to say that, especially in the media. I think it's pretty obvious. That's why you don't need to say it. As far as the team makeup is noticeable, and then that I'm going to say it. I don't understand why he would go that route. Like I don't know why he would choose to say this as a professional. Even if I've noticed that, even if I know my job is to be a shock jock nowadays, to say whatever so I can go viral, so my digital footprint has value, or whatever it is that Stephen A. Smith does nowadays, I would not have taken this opportunity. If I did, I definitely would not have taken this angle. So I think that was a little bit reckless of him to do. And because I've seen quotes, I've seen posts out there, and the first person that brought this to my attention, it was a white guy, and he was making up names, and then the comment section was going insane with the nicknames for the team. I had to look it up real quick. So my favorites are the Snow Time Lakers. My absolute favorite is LA Quakers. I love that one. I love that one. The white guy that was making the jokes on the thing, he said the Cream Team. I like that. The Casserole Collective. I was like, damn, that's fire, low key. So it's like, hey man, it's pretty obvious. Everybody can see it. So I guess Stephen A. thought that since there was already enough friendly fodder out there that he can chime in. But it's just like, look, man, with ESPN having a reputation that it has for being a race baiting machine, and you being a spearhead of that, you take to your own platform to drop this in a climate right now that doesn't necessarily need you to say that. So I felt like if there was a way that you wanted to address this, it didn't have to be so inflammatory. It doesn't look like they're trying to win a championship right now. And honestly, it has nothing to do with the fact that there's 3 white guys. Because if you had Luka, Jokic, and some other bad white boy in there, they are winning. All right, they are beating all them Negroes. So that it's not the fact that it's 3 white guys, it's the fact that how he went about doing it. And it's just like, come on, man. So I felt like that was in bad taste. If he wanted to go viral with this, I felt like there was a more tasteful way to do it. I would have done what I literally just did right now. Literally showed a post of a white guy making these jokes and then letting that roll off. You saying your little piece and you get in and you get out. Instead of you acting like you're the one that's making this proclamation that where are y'all going with this? Like this is an actual debating talking point that the people should carry on because that's his thing too. His job is to put batteries in people's back so they can run out there and start spewing that at the basketball court and all of that. But I think everybody that looked at the initial makeup at that roster, Walker, Kessler, Austin Reeves, Luka, no defense, Doncic.
All three of them are no defense. Well, at least Kessler, when he's not hurt, he'll block some shots.
Exactly.
But you can, all three of them you can say are cones. I mean,
and so what it's one of those what's understood ain't got to be explained thing, and it's not because they're white, it's because of the white boys that they got. They not really that nice like that, especially on defense.
Yeah.
So hey man, I felt like that was a bad take for him, and if there's any backlash that he gets for it, I'm here for all Stephen A backlash. So I'm not going to tell anybody to get their foot off his neck. But what are your thoughts, man, on Stephen A. Smith getting a little backlash from him calling out the Lakers organization for signing these white basketball players? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, this is an episode of When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong on Chappelle's show. He said it because he knew that everybody else thinks it anyway, so he felt as though he was immune from any criticism.
Correct.
Because people are already thinking it anyway. But honestly, I think, like, for example, I think if Gilbert Arenas had said that, I think there'd be no backlash. I think if Cameron had said it, there'd be no backlash. I think there's backlash that he said it for two main reasons. Number one, his salary. Stephen A. Smith is a lightning rod because he makes so much money, and people just kind of, I think people perceive Stephen A. Smith's salary to be more than what a media gas bag should be making. I think he's largely perceived by people who consume sports media to be overpaid. And anytime anybody's overpaid, you're just going to invite scrutiny because people are mad because you make as much money as you do. So his salary pretty much necessitates that he's always going to be a lightning rod for criticism, whether he says something that's true or not. But then number two, another reason why there is backlash because he said this is because it's him. And he does this thing where he's corporate head honcho, climbing the corporate ladder 1 minute,
right?
And when it's convenient for him, he's sticking up for his community the next. And the problem with that is that those tend to be two counterintuitive notions. Like, it's hard for you to be pro-Black and be super corporate. Like, those two things have never been something that go in concert with one another. And people see that. So, like, you trying to make all the money in the world. You are a self-proclaimed unapologetic capitalist. You want to be the highest paid ESPN employee. You own General Hospital. You trying to make all of these corporate moves, for real. Like, you trying to make all of these corporate moves and get all of these corporate dollars. You got Car Shield money now. You're doing all of these Car Shield commercials, but then you want to be like, oh, I'm a brother. And look, man, I'm not trying to say brothers can't do corporate stuff.
Right, I guess.
But it's the manner in which he goes about doing it, where it's like you're rubbing elbows in all of those rooms, but you invoke the community stuff when it's most convenient. That's why I get a chuckle out of his whole HBCU. Like, I don't give a damn that you taking first take to HBCU. So 364 days out of the year, you get to be corporate guy. But then because you take your show to each HBCUs, I'm supposed to believe that you're like the adjacent to Maya Moore. I'm not buying that. So I think that's another reason why he gets the backlash, because people are just annoyed with the way that he conveniently tries to, go pro-Black, And look, I'm not trying to. I personally don't like it when Black people try to police Blackness. I don't like that kind of stuff. I try to stay away from that. People can stand up for their community in whatever way they see fit. I'm not trying to be that Black guy who's over here policing Blackness. But at the same time, with Stephen A. Smith, it's just like, bro, you are company man personified.
Yes.
And so it's hard for you to position yourself as super pro-Black when at the same time you're such a company man.
Right.
You know, it's just hard for people to make that separation. So I kind of feel like that's why he gets that kind of scrutiny, that along with his salary. I think those two things have a lot to do with why people a lot of times have problems with some of the stuff that he says. Because like I said before, I think if Cameron or Mace or Gilbert Arenas, if people like that, Carmelo, I think if Carmelo said that, no one gives a damn. But it's Stephen A. Smith, and he's Mr. Tom Ford suit, Disney employee. I make all of this money. I'm a capitalist, and I'm eating up all of the salary cap, so to speak, at Disney. I think that's why people are like, ugh, like it's just, it feels dirty whenever you go there, even if it is true.
Yeah, not 100%, bro. It didn't feel right, bro. It rubbed me the wrong way, bro. And like I said, I saw a post about this before, and it was coming from white people. So everybody in the comment section, black, white, bro, all the dudes were in there getting a good laugh out of this. And I think that was a safe space for guys. And we, you know, of all races, just sitting in there having a good little laugh at, you know, the names and stuff like that. Because on both sides of the aisle, I think everybody identified the elephant in the room there, you know. And it could be it's clear that the Lakers made a brand shift after dealing with LeBron. All right, they was like, hey, we're done with this. All right, we're done with the LeBron experience. Okay. And so they just went to the other side of the fence. All right. And so that was good enough for a chuckle, and amongst other things, man. So I like the fact that everybody was having fun with it. And then here comes race baiting. You know what I'm saying? Everybody see the elephant in the room and they're making fun of it. And then here he comes really trying to make it an adversarial kind of, a weird situation, bro. And it don't need to be like that, dog. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's just basketball. And if you black, you played against the collective of white boys. And they play a particular type of basketball that will beat your ass if y'all not playing basketball. And so we've all had that moment. We've all did it. If you like sports, you've seen it before. So it's kind of like that little thing going on. And it's like this to me didn't take on any type of, backstory craziness. I think it's just one of those things that everybody saw and it was what it was. You know, it's just like the Utah Jazz or hell, like lately the Miami Heat. Where they just made this brand shift and you're gonna have to deal with it as a fan and whatever. And so it's just one of those things. And so now here he comes calling it out, making it a thing, you know, and it don't need to be that, Stephen A. So again, with the race baiting, with the, stirring the pot unnecessarily, I wish, a white guy had said that about any other situation. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got 5 black guys trying to X, Y, and Z. And Stephen A. Smith will see you see, brother. He'll get in and hit his little, man. His professional HBCU. You know what I'm saying, wearing his jacket on stream. It's like, look, bro, all this performative Negroisms, dog. You could drop it, bro, because I ain't buying it. So yeah, man, I it's just him, Ryan Clark, bro. They're on my list of
they put their stink on stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, just leave stuff alone, man. The two of them, man. Because Ryan Clark by himself in isolation is whatever. But if let something come up, and here comes Ryan Clark. He just makes things worse. Stephen A. just makes things worse. And I'm just tired of it, bro. Just go somewhere. And if you want to be that pro, I'm with you, bro. If you want to be that pro in these contexts, you need to carry that across the board. Because I see you when you hop and skip on other things. But when it comes to this over here, it's got to be this and that. Nah, bro, just let it go. And let the internet have fun for a change, Stephen A. And stop trying to, mess up a good time.
Yeah.
So not feeling it, man.
I'm not either. He has to Stephen A. it. You gotta make his name a verb.
Right, bro.
He's Stephen A'd it. He's Stephen A'd it up. Like, come on, man. Like you turning this into some kind of
bro. We don't need
thing
that right
where it's like, now we have to have this civil discourse about it.
Right, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause, like now when it was Celtics versus Lakers back in the day, and it was Bird and Magic. That had its thing. We just saw the Clayton and Clark, Angel Reese thing. Don't try to artificially create that energy, because nobody felt that way, and I don't think anybody will feel that way. Yeah. So just cut it out, Stephen A. He just needs something to talk about. That's all he does.
Yeah. He just always has to put his stink on stuff, man.
Sass.
For real. Friend of the damn channel.
Mm-hmm.
We move on to Jaylen Brown, who's a friend of the channel in the non-Stephen A. Smith way.
Correct.
Jaylen Brown, for any sports fan who's been living under a rock, has been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. And the fallout from this is ensuing. Jaylen Brown is now speaking out in defense of his name, because there are anonymous sources who have contributed in the media, apparently, suggesting that he can be difficult. And one of the reasons why is because he believes that he's the smartest person in the room. And so, Jaylen Brown has to defend his name. He has to defend his honor. He does not appreciate the way that things went down between he and the Celtics. And he also does not appreciate a lot of the subtle commentary being made, or asserted rather, about his character in the media. Chiefly that, he's somebody who thinks that he's smarter than everybody else. He's just not a fan of that kind of stuff. And he even mentions names. So this says, Jaylen Brown responds to Smartest Guy reports. Jaylen Brown implies there's some truth to recent reports about him after being traded by the Boston Celtics. Hours after he was shipped off to the Philadelphia 76ers on July 2nd, Brown hopped on his Twitch live stream to address reports that he walks around believing he's the smartest person in every room. No offense to everybody in sports, but the bar is effing low. The remark landed as a response to comments made by Colin Cowherd, who is somebody who I actually like, who cited two anonymous sources, one described as a league executive, one as a scout, who characterized Brown's alleged self-regard as a disease. Cowherd said the attitude made Brown resistant to bosses, consultants, and teammates alike. Brown wasn't having it. We got to stop with the anonymous sources. I'm tired of these damn anonymous sources, like anonymous executive, anonymous source, Colin Cowherd, Bobby Marks, Stephen A. Smith. Anonymous sources is saying anything. I think y'all are the sources. The timing of the stream added weight to every word. Boston sent Brown to Philly in exchange for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks, a return package that has drawn skepticism around the league, given that George is 36 with a significant injury history. Brown said he learned the trade was real in the most unceremonious way possible. I went up to the facility. My key card got rejected. Damn, I just wanted to see if it was real. They packed me up, bro. He also made it clear that his exit from the team stung beyond basketball. I wasn't thrilled with how the conversation was facilitated. I did feel like it was a lack of respect. At one point, it was fine, and then out of nowhere, it just went left. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, Brown never requested a trade out of Boston. Last season, Brown averaged 28.7 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game, carrying the Celtics to the number 2 seed while Jason Tatum missed substantial time with an Achilles injury. He finished 6th in MVP voting and earned an All-NBA second-team honor. The Celtics, for their part, remain committed to Tatum on a deal worth $313.9 million, and Brown was entering the third year of a 5-year, $304 million supermax. Brown's academic credentials gave his bars low shot a particular edge. He studied at UC Berkeley, was named an MIT Media Lab Fellow in 2019, and became the youngest person to deliver a lecture at Harvard University. So there you have it, man. Jaylen Brown is refuting these ideas that he is smarter than everybody else, suggesting that anybody who believes that he's smarter than everybody else shows that the bar is really low. So what do you make of JB's comments?
I feel like he's got a point. That athletes have been pretty much conditioned and groomed to just be whatever they are, just shut up and dribble, shut up and catch, and it's not like there's an aggressive, you need to just shut up and dribble. It's been so subtle that it's just been their life leading up to going to college and getting into the league. So, for football players or whatever, they never have to go to class. And this is in high school. They never have to go to class. They get in trouble. Things are swept under the rug. They go to college. They get tutors. Some of these guys do go to UC Berkeley, okay, but they don't end up doing lectures at Harvard, or getting MIT things like Jaylen Brown did. But there's plenty of guys that have gotten degrees from Harvard because they hooped, but they weren't real Harvard students. So there's a lot of guys that just get pushed through and processed through athletics, and they don't really, I don't want to say they all don't take the academic area seriously, but a lot of them don't. It's just a means to an end for them. And because of that nature, they hit the block running. They get all of this money, millions of dollars, and now it's just time to play. So they play on and off the court, on and off the field, and life is great for those athletes. And whoop-de-whoop. A lot of those guys, of course, they'll do their own little mini charities, give back to their own little communities and stuff like that. But Jaylen has taken it into a more national and global realm with the things that he's been trying to initiate and things that he's been trying to create for himself and stuff of that nature. So he didn't just keep it localized within his own community. Like a lot of guys that do make it to the league, they do give back in those ways. But I mean, Jaylen he's really trying to be a trailblazer in more ways than one for his off the court stuff, which now I see why with his initial scouting report was that he's basically too smart for his own good kind of thing, because he's not just hooping. He actually has a plan for his life. A lot of guys, I saw a clip of Leonard Fournette, on some type of show or whatever, getting interviewed, basically just breaking down, what I'm saying? And I think he said he actually did cry or something. And basically, he was doing his workout and he was like, what am I going to do now after football? That's a lot of guys that question after football and basketball. What am I going to do with my life? Jaylen came in at the pre-draft situation, already knowing what he wanted to do. That's a problem. And so, and if he's thinking like this now, this guy's going to be a problem when it comes to negotiating contracts and blah, 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 blah. And they don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
They want the smooth business as usual thing. And Jaylen is far from business as usual. And so with that, now he's getting these labels. Now there's the anonymous sources. Now there's the snub for the Olympics. Now there's the situation in California. And now he gets traded for pennies on a dollar. Sorry, Paul George, but this ain't 2010. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like
not even. Yeah, 2004. 2005.
Yeah, he was playing with Danny Granger in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the Pacers. He was on the Pacers when we were playing them in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Lord Jesus. Yeah, bro. So this ain't even, you know what I'm saying? So this is pennies on a dollar, 2 draft picks. You saw what the hell that he gave up for Giannis. So is Jaylen Brown Giannis? No, but he's damn sure not 2 first-round picks.
No.
So for you to get traded like that, it was one of those things where it was just like, it was I felt like a message being sent to him or anybody else that thinks like him. And B, it was a situation of, we just want to get off of this guy because we're tired of this here. Yeah. So he's got a lot of stuff swirling around him, but none of it negative as far as I'm concerned. This is just a guy that has a mind of his own and has a plan and a vision for his life that's beyond basketball. And apparently that rubs executives the wrong way. And Colin Cowherd, I can't believe he said that. You know what I'm saying? But he's just conveying with anonymous sources saying, it's like, come on, bro, a disease? That's a strong word.
That's a very strong word.
That's a strong word, man. But what are your thoughts, man, on Jaylen Brown? Basically, man, just trying to clear the air, man, and saying that, hey, look, if I am the smartest guy in the room, it's probably because the bar is very low for the rest of the athletes, you know, out there. So what are your thoughts? Was that too smart of a comment to make? What are your thoughts, bro?
It was, but that doesn't make it not true.
Okay.
He is right. The bar is low, but the bar is low throughout the rest of society too. That's not just in sports. That's everywhere.
Agreed.
You're often penalized the smarter you are, depending on the context. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way, but it is. You're perceived to be much more amenable and easier to work with when you don't critically think through things or have a mind of your own. That's just kind of the way it's set up. So in saying that, I hear where he's coming from. Like, I think the idea that he's difficult, hard to work with, or a malcontent, I will say is probably true, but that doesn't make him wrong. Like, that's the thing with people who think for themselves is you do become a malcontent. You do. And you can be a malcontent and still be right. So, like, you know, this is why I kind of turned around when it came to Kyrie Irving. I kind of feel like Kyrie Irving is on a similar perception wheel where because he has these ideas about the world and kind of the way he looks at things aren't as simple as let me just pick up a ball and go play. Like, the world for him is bigger and goes beyond that. And so sometimes if other people aren't jiving with that particular vibration, it can rub people like him the wrong way. And so they become perceived at that point as a malcontent. And management never wants to deal with malcontent. You need locker room harmony. So for better or for worse, he probably is a malcontent. So unfortunately, he probably is that, but that doesn't make him wrong. And I speak from personal experience. Look, I'll tell you straight up, like, I used to work, I worked at a restaurant, you know, and I got fired from that job for being a malcontent. Now, the stuff that I used to complain about, the stuff that I used to raise hell about, to this day, I don't think I was wrong about any of it. I wasn't wrong about a single bit, but was I still being a malcontent? Yes. So at that point, management was like, we're just tired of dealing with this guy. Just get the pink slip, like enough is enough. Like, yeah, he's right about all of this stuff. And it does need to be better managed. And it does suck to be back here. And there are certain inequities that we suck at fixing. But we just need bodies to come in here and work in this pit and clean up and go home.
Yep.
So even though I wasn't wrong, I was a malcontent because I wouldn't stop. So they had to let me go. And now years later, they let me back because, you know, there were a lot of people who were a part of getting rid of me who were gone because it was later discovered that they were a problem too. So they kind of cleaned up, they kind of cleaned house. And then I was able to come back and kind of start working again at a time when I actually needed the money. But at the time, can I say in all fairness that I was being a malcontent? Hell yeah. Was I wrong with the stuff that I was being a malcontent over? No, I wasn't. So it's just certain people are built to just kind of deal with unreasonable dysfunction. Certain people are just okay with it. I am not one of those people. Jaylen Brown clearly is not one of those people. There are a lot of people in the world who will not tolerate dysfunction if it can be rectified. Like if you see dysfunction and you feel as though this is something that can be fixed, you will not stop complaining about it until you figure out a way to get it fixed or they get rid of you. One of those two things is going to happen, whichever comes first. So with the Celtics, whatever it was that was going on, because I believe it was deeper than just money and whatever. Like, it was probably some other stuff going on with him that was dysfunctional. But does that make it a situation in which he was wrong? No. It just means that eventually management reached a point where they could no longer tolerate his level of malcontent. And so it was like, okay, we need to just get this guy out of the building. But was he probably right with whatever it was that he was complaining about? Yeah. And so that's the thing about it is management, the powers that be, because they're in the ultimate position of leverage, because they're the check writer, they don't have to capitulate to working with you to fix the dysfunction. You just have to go along to get along. And if you don't like it, we'll just get you out of here.
Correct.
So even though he makes $304 million, despite being wealthy like that, when it comes to the Celtics, he is not in a position of leverage. As crazy as that may seem, because of how rich he is, he's not. He's an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I was an employee at that restaurant. I was
Mm-hmm.
fighting about all of the stuff that I used to be bitching about. They still fired me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, this guy's being a malcontent. And in all fairness, I can admit, yeah, I was being a malcontent because every day I refused to let it go. If it was an aspect of bad management, I talked about it. I brought it up. I raised hell because I thought this is the way it should be fixed to make everything better for everybody, not just me.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, this them's the breaks. So, you know, I appreciate him defending his honor. I'll never besmirch somebody for being proud of their intelligence and their intellect. I think that that's something that should be celebrated in society more than cast aside as being problematic. But that's the way the world works. So I don't criticize him for that one bit. But do I think that he was problematic? Probably. But I say that in respect to him, to be honest with you, because a lot of times malcontents are nevertheless true and right in what they're doing. It's just because they're not in a position of leverage, you know, they can get exercised even though they weren't wrong with what they were doing.
Right, man. And good point to be made there. And this is why, like, well, I think this was the first time we had brought up Jaylen when we were talking about his shoes. And I was just telling him, you know, because I know he watches the show. And I was telling him, I was like, hey, bro, like, you know, fly low, man. Like, just stay out of the way. Because it's not sweet out here, man. I've been at jobs myself where things got a little hot. You know what I'm saying? I drew a little too much attention to myself for whatever reason. And you know, things got a little funny, man. Things got a little funny, and I was not in a position of leverage. So I had to be on best behavior. Because I've seen what they've done to other people in hot water, and they don't have to do very much to be out of a job. And so, because there's violations that everybody does, and you can't do no more. You know, there's a thing that they never really implemented that rule, but they'll implement it on your ass because you know you're hot right now. And when it comes to just being a person in the limelight, now he's streaming. So you're gonna have to watch what he says if he's streaming. You know, he was out here dating WNBA players, pulling up courtside. Like, it's like, hey, bro, I'm not telling you not to live your life, but what I'm telling you is you got to be careful, because all of these people that you're calling out, Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd, the media, period, organizations, owners, and all this other stuff, shoe companies, like you're getting a lot of people, you're on a lot of people's radar right now, and they would love to see you get into some shenanigans because they're not going to let that down. And now to them, this would be chickens coming home to roost for you. And I don't want that. I'm not trying to speak that on him. I'm just saying, bro, like, you got to try to stay out of the way as much as possible. I'm sure you saw the shenanigans right now going on with Marcellus Wiley, right?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
The shenanigans, bro. I haven't really dug into it myself because I thought it was caps. Yeah. But I'm seeing articles pop all over the place. I'm like, he got into some shenanigans.
Him and Big Tigger. I don't know what's going on with these guys. You seen Big Tigger?
Yeah, Big Tigger got into some shenanigans, but you know, Big Tigger, he don't pop off at the mouth. I even forgot about it. You had to ask me, do I remember Big Tigger? Yeah. You know, because he's not known for popping his mouth. But Marcellus Wiley, he'll get on his soapbox real quick and start popping his mouth about other people and their dramas.
Yeah.
And so I'm scrolling on TikTok, and there's people relishing in this. He's having a life crisis. His family's having a life crisis. I've seen pictures of he will post pictures of his family on social media, man. Beautiful family, man. I'm sorry to hear that this was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. But there's people that go, I don't care what you post online. I don't like what you say about this person. I don't like how you act about that person. And now that he got himself in a sticky situation, it's chicken coming home to roost, and there's a whole bunch of people that's just piling in on it. And so my thing is that people, when you create these air quote enemies or these adversaries, and you're calling people out. They're chomping at the bit. They can't wait to see you have a human moment.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling this young man again, just to reiterate and speaking positive vibes on this young man. It's just stay clear, man. Stay out the shenanigans, bro, because his life beyond basketball after he retires, it could be something special. So he's already trying to do something special now. So I would just like to see him stay on that trajectory, man, and not start slinging mud with these dudes. I understand he's trying to defend his name and trying to speak on something bigger than him, you know what I'm saying, and bigger than other athletes and trying to bring attention to it. But at the same time, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a fine line you're trying to skate on. So just stay safe out there, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I agree with you too. I do think that there's big things on the horizon for him after he is done playing. But you don't want to compromise those opportunities because you compromise your present opportunities too.
Correct.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's hard being the person who sees how things can be better.
Right.
Because if you don't own it, if you don't run it, if you're not in charge of making those high-level decisions and you're just a cog in the wheel, so to speak, there's only but so much that you can be a malcontent before they get rid of you. So again, man, like in my personal experience, I'm like my personal experience colors the way I see Jaylen Brown and others like him. I'm not to the level of them because I'm not making millions of dollars and all of that kind of stuff. But I've been in situations where I was being a malcontent, but I also don't think I was wrong. So it's like, no, I'm not wrong, but also at the same time, am I in the wrong for being a malcontent? You can't dismiss that either. So, it's just one of those things, man. Like, until you can run it, until you own it, until you sign the checks, there's an expiration date on your level of being a malcontent before you are no longer a malcontent for them. So
100, bro. Hey, shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Stay safe, dog.
Yeah. Shouts out to JB. Lastly, we get into bombshell news that Sony dropped about a week ago. I actually saw this. It's funny that you suggested this as a topic for today because I saw this when it broke last week, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm not really as much of a gamer anymore. I haven't been now for several years, but I grew up a gamer. So I still follow the news and stuff. Like I still follow stories and stuff like going on in the industry. And when I saw this, I was like, I never thought I'd see the day that this would happen. But Sony announced, well, first of all, let me just back up real quick because I didn't even know that GTA 6 is not going to have physical media either.
No physical
like
game.
And that actually broke before this news. So I saw GTA 6 is digital only. And I said, wow, that's kind of crazy because it's like the biggest video game release in like 10, 20 years probably. And then I read, and then like last week I see Sony beginning January 2027, no more physical media. Everything is digital download. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. So this says PlayStation is ending physical disc production for all new games. Physical media took another major blow on July 1st. PlayStation, in a move that was immediately questioned by those who favor tangibility over potential impermanence, has announced that physical game disc production for all new console titles is coming to an end. This wasn't the only announcement from the PlayStation team on Wednesday, as the PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita is also set to be shut down soon. In a move billed as being a response to shifting trends among consumers, PlayStation has indeed confirmed a definitive end to the production of physical game discs for all new console titles. Production will be discontinued starting January 2028. So it's January 2028, not 27. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. Sid Schumann, senior director at Sony Interactive Entertainment Content Communications, said in a statement shared on July 1st. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. After January 2028, new PlayStation games will be available via PlayStation Store and other retailers in digital formats only. Notably, the change will not affect previously released games, nor will it impact titles slated to be released before the cutoff. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation and how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. In tandem with the physical media blow, PlayStation has also announced a curtain drop for the PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita. Starting this year, the PlayStation Store on PS3 will close in select markets, while worldwide closures for both PS3 and PS Vita are slated for 2027. According to Schumann, this means new content purchases will no longer be possible upon store closure. However, players will still be able to download previously purchased content for the foreseeable future. Yeah, for emphasis on for the foreseeable future.
Unbelievable, dog.
These people can just do whatever they want, bro. So, yeah, bro, there you have it, man. So, what do you make of this crazy news?
You know, bro, like, it's just not clean out here no more, man. Like,
yeah,
like they're not letting people live at all no more, dog. And when I heard about GTA, bro, because I haven't had last GTA I had was GTA 3, bro, like on PS2, bro. Like, I didn't even play Vice City. I had it and I didn't care for it, you know. So I did play San Andreas though. I went crazy on that, but I haven't played any of this late, you know, stuff lately. And I said, you know what, I'll mess around and get this one since it's whatever, you know. I got a little idle time, not a lot, but you know, I'll play it. And then I heard that, you know, they're doing this non-physical copy. Like, how does that even work? I mean, I know how it works, but what you mean? They said they were going to sell people like a case with nothing in it. What? So I'm just carrying around a case that it came with nothing. Like, why would I do that? Like, what am I doing here? So I knew something was up when they started doing all of this stuff, you know, the store, and there was an option for you to have a PS5 without a disc.
Yeah.
Like, why would I do that?
The digital only version. Yeah.
I said, why the hell would I do that? So I said, no, give me the one that plays the thing. I don't care if it costs more. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So it was already bad with the microtransactions, the pay to win, like, and now this. And here's my thing: the amount of tyranny that is on the back end of this, it makes me not even want to deal with it at all. And high key, because I'm like you, bro. Like, I don't really play like that anymore. Like, if I do play, I plug it up. I'll binge it like people binge a TV show, and I'm done with it, you know, for months on end again.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like in the trenches no more. But so I can go without. But there's people out there that, you know what I'm saying, this is what they do right now. This is what they do. This is their thing. And, you know, they've been conditioned to be microtransactions. Now they're going to get into this thing. And I don't know what level of, because I used to play college football 2008 up until like 2016, bro. Like, that's not a joke. I played that game for 8 years because I didn't care, because I didn't need a new one. What y'all gonna do? Give me a roster update? I can fix the roster and have fun, you know. And you know, so for people that like to live life like that, I know there's whole entire communities that play old school retro games and doing all this other stuff. And now for them trying to make everything digitalized, they can cut access off. They can go, you know, we're just not going to hold this on our mainframe anymore. Yeah. We're done. You know, well, you know, they can get as bogus as they want to get. You know, wipe systems clean for what? What are you doing? You know, oh, you know, it was an error, a bug in our system. You know, you have to, you know, the games will never end with this. No pun intended, bro. Like they can do anything they want with this garbage, and it's like a monopoly of some sorts. So, yeah, man, I got more to say on the back end, man. But I feel for gamers overall. But more importantly, this speaks to the amount of corporate control that's going on right now, where they're not letting people breathe at all anymore. And everything's a subscription, everything's digitalized, and you won't own nothing. Mm-hmm. And I hate every bit of that. And I felt like video games was an untapped industry that they weren't even going to attempt to bring this garbage into. And now look where we're at right now. But what are your thoughts, man, on Sony pulling the plug on having physical copies nowadays? They're going to have digitalized everything come 2028. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the crux of the problem is a complete lack of ownership. Mm-hmm. So you're at the mercy of servers. So, because I think eventually physical media with movies is also going to disappear too. For sure. I think the gaming industry is just going to follow, because PlayStation is the head honcho. Well, Nintendo's pretty big too, but PlayStation already announced it. So I kind of feel like any day now, Nintendo and Microsoft are both going to be like, yeah, we're doing the same thing. No more discs. And it relegates you to being at the mercy of servers. Yep. And one of the problems that I have with like the streaming is they take stuff down and put stuff up. Like you have no control. So if there's a movie that's on Netflix right now, in about 3 months, it's gonna leave.
Yes, that's true.
And if I want to keep watching the movie, I'm gonna have to buy it at full retail price, but it's still a digital version that's housed on some server somewhere. But the only way that I can continue to watch it is if I pay full price for it, because if all I'm doing is streaming stuff, I'm at the mercy of whenever they decide to take stuff up and take stuff down and put stuff on there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the lack of agency is what's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. But I'm gonna tell you this does present an opportunity for people who have hoarded physical media all these years.
For sure.
Because this stuff is going to become very valuable.
Yes, it is.
Even though I don't play video games like that anymore, when I read this story, it brought back all of those bad memories that I have of when my apartment got broken into and these thieves stole all my stuff. They stole at the time it was a PS3, Xbox 360, and I had a whole bunch of games for each of them. And these people came in and they stole all. That's really what put me out of playing video games. Like I haven't really been into gaming since then. And this happened back in, I think, 2014. They came in, took all my stuff. That's what I thought of when I read this story, because in 10, 15, maybe 20 years, all of that physical media is going to be worth a lot of money, I think. So this even though this sucks, I think it represents an opportunity for people who are currently hoarding physical media. Like when I moved into this place, I thank God my dad saved all my old. This is what I got behind me right now. Like put all my old stuff in this big crate, and he put it in the storage closet that me and him split the bill on. And so when I was moving into this place, I thought to myself, oh, I actually have a use for that stuff now. I can kind of put it in my background. But that stuff might fetch for a pretty penny now. Like I got Dreamcast games, I got GameCube games, like the actual games, like the actual discs. I still have that stuff. You could probably go now, put that stuff on eBay and probably get a decent haul for it. I'm not going to do it because it's only going to appreciate in value over time. But I really do think that as bad as this is, it does represent an opportunity for people who do have a lot of physical media. And it just makes me wish I still had all of those PS3 and 360 games. It just brought back a lot of old traumas, because it just instantly put me in that headspace of being angry and bitter and pissed off because they took all my stuff. Man, if I still I had Blu-ray movies too. They took all my Blu-ray movies, all my PS3 games, all my Xbox 360 games. They just cleaned me out, bro. Cleaned me out. and I have it on good authority. The people who did it were people who look like me. So how's that for community?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, this is what I got left, and you know, I do have a PS4, but you know, I got like 2 games on it. I barely play it, and I told myself I might get myself a PS5 to get back into it, but I haven't done it yet. Time is a very precious commodity that is in short supply for a lot of people these days, myself.
I'm telling you, bro.
So
and they make you grind so hard. It's like, bro, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, every game is a grind. It's a crazy grind now. Hours and hours and hours. It's like, you know, if I didn't try to have a social life and I didn't try to work out at the gym, maybe I'd have time. But I don't want to sacrifice those things. So, let alone having a family or children, get out of here. So, but yeah, this is all I got left, man. And you know, my advice to anybody who's keeping up with this stuff is to stay on top of the news and to start now hoarding as much of this stuff as you can. Hold on to it, because I do think that it's going to be worth something in the future.
Yeah, man. And you bring up a good point as far as like, you know, it's just sitting on a server and them treating it like Netflix. I think that's going to be the business model.
That is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they're just going to take stuff out of circulation on your ass. And it's like, man, yeah, I bought this for $56. And it's just like, you know, and I mentioned that, yeah, we're not going to carry this anymore. But, you know, you can rebuy it, or, you know what I'm saying? Or just get the newer version of it. Or I don't know. They're going to do all of these weird little mini transactions on your ass. You know what I'm saying? And the latest update, and your version now is not operable until you buy the $9.99, you know, DCL or whatever it's called. Bro, like even with my physical copy of NCAA 26, I didn't plug it in for months, man. But college football is coming around, and I got to start recruiting some classes, bro. So I'm sitting in there, I'm playing the game, but before I even turn the game on, bro, it was like, we're updating. I'm like, updating? You know what I'm saying? Because I have no account with these people, bro. I play everything offline. You know what I'm saying? So I still have to connect to the internet. I'm like, why? That's why. Yeah. And they're just booting up my thing. And so there's certain things in the game that changed because they updated my game. So just imagine when I have no physical copy. You know, I don't know what they're going to be updating, taking down, moving around, doing all this other dumb, bogus stuff, man. I just love my days of just being completely off the grid.
A single player gamer. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? All this online stuff that they're trying to force on people, I was rebuking it. So now with this new thing and, you know, them doing all of this, you know, it's akin to the same thing that they're doing with the cars. So you've heard about the stuff that they're doing with the cars where everything's going to have AI cameras in it and all this other bogus stuff. Like this whole new 2027, 2028 stuff, bro. Like I'm not here for none of it, bro. All of this stuff can go to hell. So, yeah, man, it's not clean, man, for them attacking the video game community. I mean, they've been attacking the betting community. They attacked every community, bro. Like, there's nobody out here that's just living unabated no more. Yeah. Everything is just gone to shart. Yeah. And so for the video game industry to get this large middle finger, man, I feel for those people because, you know, as a old gamer myself, man, you know, a lot of wasted hours, but there's also a lot of fun I've had over the years, man. And so for these young people to have this stuff violate them like that is just completely inappropriate. So just imagine what they're going to start doing next. If video games, what else are they going to start trying to make you pay to live for? It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks being at the mercy of servers, but we all signed up for this. Collectively, we are all signing up for this. Streaming apps, hell. I don't have anything, like I don't even own an external hard drive anymore because I'm cloud-based now. Everything is on the cloud.
Ain't that crazy, bro?
Yeah.
I got a big old terabyte thing over here that never gets used anymore.
Yeah. Like, bro, I'm all on the cloud, bro. Like between the phone, the apps, everything. Like I had to get a NordVPN account because I'm not messing around. So I'm securing all my internet connections now. And it's software. It's not like, you know, back in the day, way back in the day, you go to the store and buy a disc and install all the drivers, right? Like everything is like cloud-based software now. So I had to like log into my phone and authenticate through the app. That's how I got into the thing to set it up. But the point is, EMP bomb, whatever compromises. Like,
yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like what happens to my internet security when NordVPN gets compromised? Like we're at the mercy of all of this stuff.
Yeah, man.
But we accept it. We're signing up for it. Willingly, we sign up for it. And I feel you, man. Like I grew up in the my first video game console was the original Nintendo. This is how far back I go. 1988. Like I was playing Nintendo, the original. I had a Nintendo, I had a Sega Genesis, I had a Super Nintendo, all of that stuff. I say that to say I grew up being a single player gamer. Like I love the single player experience. So even into adulthood, when I was still playing video games, I wasn't playing multiplayer. I wasn't doing online. I was playing the single player game still. So every video game that I bought, I'd play the campaign mode or the single player mode. Once I beat it, I was always a completionist. So I try to also get all the unlockables and stuff like that. But once I was done with that, the game was done for me. I wasn't hopping online. I'm a single player gamer. Even with a PS4, like the only reason why I bought a PS4 was because I was playing the Uncharted games on PS3. So I played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and then they made the last game Uncharted 4, and they put it on PS4. So the only way that I can finish the story and play Uncharted 4 was to buy a PS4. That's literally the reason why I bought a PS4, to finish that story out. But I played the single player campaign, and then it was done. I was over it. I'm done. And then I played God of War too. Same thing. I was playing God of War on PS3. And then I bought new God of War on PS4. Fly ass game. It was a great game. But once I was done with the campaign, it was over for me. So for single player games, like gamers like myself, I'm not getting into DLC. I'm not getting into multiplayer. I'm not getting into the massive multiplayer online stuff. I just want to play the single player campaign and have fun and ball out that way. But you can't even do that anymore because everything is online, multiplayer, DLC, this and that. And so it's just stripped a lot of the value away for people who like the game the way I used to. So it just sucks, man. It is. But we're signing up for this stuff. We are.
Yeah, man. Unfortunate, man. So, for all my gamers out there, bro, like, some of the young people may not understand this. But for the people that's like our age, man, maybe a little bit younger or whatever, yeah, man, this is a tough one, bro. So the tyranny is on the way. I mean, they've already been very tyrannical lately, especially with all these new gen things. Like there's so much garbage they've been doing, but this is peak trash.
It's next level.
Like, it's sinister.
It is. I legitimately couldn't believe it when I saw it. My jaw dropped. I was like, this has to be a joke. I couldn't believe it. I never thought I'd see that day when it's just like physical video game discs are just gonna disappear. I couldn't believe it.
This is greed to the you can't even put it into words, man. So yeah, man. So shouts out to y'all. Y'all gonna find a way. There's a lot of people out there that are already openly online talking about alternative methods. Y'all be safe out here because I'm telling y'all right now, man, the way things are being surveilled nowadays, bro, like they might not be playing about that this next go round. So once they make everything digitalized, I'm talking about these TV shows and things that you used to find alternatives to, they're not playing fair no more. And they'll probably find ways to find you if you try to get alternative. I'm not playing, bro. So y'all be safe out there, bro.
Yeah. Sucks, man. Yeah, it really sucks. It really sucks, bro. I grew up a gamer, man. Shouts out to the gamers out there, man. I feel for y'all. And with that, we are out of here, man. Another stream in the books. This was fantastic stuff, man. Shouts out to everybody who checked us out. Shouts out to everybody who's tuning into this or any of our other videos. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video, whether we're right, wrong, or crazy. It's all good. It's all love. Check out the channel on Instagram and TikTok at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. And check me out on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Be sure to download the podcast on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Traditional searching. And as I always like to say, don't be a group thinker. Have a mind of your own. Think for yourself. And until next time, Miami Heat, please do not sign LeBron. I'm begging you. Please, please don't do it. Please don't do it. But until next time, folks, we are out of here. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.
Hey, man, and the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, DraftKings, MySpace, FanDuel, X, Twitter, Meta. Hey, man, if there's a social media platform, Dogon_SS is also out there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow, and all that good jazz. And as JV Wynn said, man, we greatly appreciate you all for liking, all right, consciously leaving comments, all right, sharing these videos, because you can't keep all these jewels to yourself, bro. You don't want to be a hoarder or anything, man. So go ahead and spread the wealth and spread the joy, man, because we do this on a weekly basis, man. Come on and join us live or watch our reposts, man, because we got a whole library at this point, man, so you can binge those, all right? And as I say every week, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until next episode, ladies and gentlemen, I still got more rings than India.Arie, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
All right. We'll see y'all later, man. We are out. Peace.
Hey, man, still go Canes, though, man. Y'all